in Discord, you can maximize my screen. That way you can see it's exactly what you'd see in Twitch. You can always box out your Twitch chat.
Yeah, I got Twitch up there.
Yep.
Cool.
So, we're good. Nice Saturday morning. I'll be on the same time next Saturday morning with a legend. Alright. It seems easy.
Oh, error, we'll try it. We'll do it another time. Whoop, whoop.
Alright. Boom, 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 boom.
Does it count if we do this? Damn it! I really want some of them.
Oh, you pulled a Casey. That's our Draco Casey Brown. Before I even set up the. Oh, you're on the nerdies. You're not on yours today. Ah.
Yeah, I'm on the nerdies. I can put mine as well. Oh, all the viewers. All the viewers.
Numbers.
Watching
It's all about
myself as
numbers.
well.
No, it's not. It's okay. It's not about numbers. I'm past that point. Once you get that check mark, then you don't have to worry. The numbers. The numbers.
The numbers. Are we all just in the? Are we all just in the chat?
Well, they can hear us, so.
Hello, everyone.
Look at that 2-month subscriber. My
Wow.
gosh.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's
I
so
know.
weird. It's so weird hearing myself on stream again.
Don't worry. Do I need to be here? Nope. Dun. You know what? While I have a second, let me.
I don't want to look at the viewer count. Thank you.
Jay, how would you feel about me designing you a new character sheet?
The issue is that my old farts of guys will revolt. So you gotta remember, everything I do is to make sure that their brains don't fall out.
Don't fall out of their ears?
Melt out of their ears and nose. Yeah. It's 40 years. Plus, in that lower left-hand corner is where your portrait goes too. So this is a portraitless one. Now, see, look, you got me now. I'm like, what button do I hit next? Hey, Obsidian, good to see you. All right, so yes, the Troller game giveaway is exclamation drawing. Just so
Trying to move over so I don't. Ah,
you look fine.
there you go.
There you go. Oh, I got Callum's elbow. That's all I need.
That's all you need, Callum's elbow.
Right.
Yo, Callum reveal with an elbow. Lovely. Elbow reveal.
Right hand reveal.
Yo.
Yeah, Lindsay, this is like generation 12 of character sheets, and it's set so everything in our old 1E 2E game is right where it needs to be. You know?
No, that's totally fair. It was more of a joke than anything
Yeah,
else.
it's funny though. Yeah.
Well, if you want to see the ones I usually use, it's like
Yeah, they look
my
more like
5e ones.
Yeah.
They're so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're.
Wait.
Yeah.
Where did
I
you find
adore
them?
these. Honestly, my friends had a giant. My friends had a had a drive of a bunch of different kinds of character sheets and stuff. So I have no idea where they got them, but I have them, so I can send copies.
Yo, send copies, please.
I'm not associated with any of this because we're live, and note that yes.
Well, they were paid for.
Ah,
so.
that's cool. It's all good. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding back.
Jay doesn't want us to break the rules.
No, no rules of. Well, look. If the rules aren't broken on last Saturday night, then we can get through a lot. You know what I mean? So, hey, what's up?
Cork as a rose.
Yeah. And I'm setting Zoom up.
I need to do this.
Hello.
There you go.
We'll put him on this.
There you go.
He's come over this way a little bit.
We are good. All right, so we got all 4 of you on. That's great. Lily's the only one that I'll do after the fact. And we're good. And so if you haven't met Tempest, you probably have seen Tempest in chat. Do you play on your? I'm sorry. Do you play on your dad's Calculator Gaming stream?
Some of them, yeah.
Some of them. That's what I thought. Okay, cool. Very cool. She's gonna be playing in one of the other groups we have, the new recruits. So I figured I'd get her on here too, so we can do some character and some background discussion on the campaign. So I've tended to throw. I thought about this. I've tended to throw in a lot of my other, and this is what, watch this, I'm going to give Chuck 10 seconds. Oh, it didn't start from the beginning. There you go, it's Stroller Games is ad. Woohoo! 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sorry, Chuck. He's live now anyway. So, look at that, we got 10 minutes. We're good, we'll start a little early. Alright, good. Zooms up. We're good, everyone's in.
Time to bring Twitch times of services.
That one's always loud. Turn that one down. There we go.
You're saying I'm always loud. I was about to say, yeah, right?
No. That ad always, that Gamescape ad always just gets a little extra loud. No, you're good. You're good. I'm not worried about numbers at all today. I'm just at all. This is just get this on, and we have a nice discussion here. So it's good. I'm gonna give away some trade secrets, I guess, if you can call it that for first edition. Just what I do.
So I have literally. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
You're
no,
good.
I was just gonna say that I literally have never played anything other than 5e. So
That is
and
awesome.
Same with us,
Pathfinder,
yeah,
and
same
I
with us.
have played Pathfinder in the form of Starfinder.
Okay.
Once.
Okay. Once, like Johnny
Once.
Dangerously. Once.
Yes.
Hello.
So.
Yeah, the mic's working. We're only
Hey, Caesar.
So, from what I understand, the character creation process in like 1E and 2E, like, seems to start with like rolling the stats. and
Yeah,
then,
but
like,
we're not.
choosing things from
That's
there.
that's if I was running. That's if I was running an adventure that was not a series of one shots. I customize. We're gonna do it in reverse. So hey,
Oh,
Lord Dave,
okay,
we're
cool.
gonna do it. I want to know what you want to play, and then I'm gonna build the character around that. Make sense?
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
don't have to worry about rolling stats. No, I always do that with all the special groups that the Saturday. All the Greyhawk. I call them all-star groups. You know. So, yep.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yep.
Awesome.
Oh yeah. All right, everyone. We'll come live here shortly and discuss. So we're in the. Yo, Jeff. Glad to see you made it. We're in Lord Peaks Haven because I use the Gavin stream setup. But yeah, we're gonna have a little session. I've never streamed a session 0 before. Never have. So, oh, thank you, Lizzie. Look at that. We're gonna get a hype train before we even come live.
Yo,
Wow.
hype train?
Hype
Let's go.
train coming. Almost.
1 second. Jays knows what's coming.
Yeah, I do. I'll put ladies on top there. You don't mind. They're Korg.
Cork's a lady, it's fine.
Just always try to be courteous. Alright,
Say
so
hype train.
someone's. Uh-oh, here she goes.
Choo choo.
Jeez. Coming live. As LJ's doing something here. Good morning. So, well, thanks,
Not doing
Jeff. We're
anything.
gonna get some more. Oh, there it goes, and then you're gonna pop it up even more. How's everyone doing? This is gonna be a fun, informal session. All right, because this is by your request, the audience. So I know people are they're not used to me being on at this time, but this is gonna be a blast. We'll have fun here. We'll just enjoy the discussion, and it goes where it goes. So as we already hit through hype. Oh, LJ, man, Gosh, shouldn't be doing that. Shouldn't be doing that. 5 gift subs. Thank you. So I'm JK Lord Gazumba. Everyone knows. Let's introduce everyone. How's that sound? And where you play, what you do, so everyone gets a little comfortable with you. No, Mr. Gazumba. Well, if you want to say that, Jeff, that's fine. But it's all good. It's just Jay. Jay's fine too. That's my real life name. So I don't. Lord Gazumba is a character, right? In the campaign, we'll talk about that in a second. So we'll start off with LJ, because we should start with LJ. Go ahead.
Why should we start with me?
Because you're in the upper left-hand corner. We go clockwise.
Hi everyone, I'm LJ. I'm one of the DMs in A Nerdy Guide to D&D. We have Callum here. He's very shy.
There we go.
But yeah, I've been playing D&D for about 3 years now, and we've been playing 5e, so this is a new experience for us.
Awesome. Now, if you all remember during the DM's Roundtable discussion with, and I'm busting myself, my good friend Todd Stashwick and John Birchfield, we had Lily, who's the DM for this group, but she's the only one that unfortunately could not make it from the 4 from A Nerdy Guide, so I will get her character all set up in the future. But Callum, hi. You can say hi. There you go. All right. So welcome. We do have another individual here as well. So please, Lindsay, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Lindsay, or Tempest, whatever anybody really wants to call me. I play a lot of video games. I play a lot of D&D. I'm set to graduate college, got a lot going on all the time. I have played nothing other than 5e and one single game of Starfinder, so this is going to be an experience, but the world of Greyhawk means a lot to my family, so.
It does. And I hung out with you and your dad a lot at GaryCon.
Yes.
Yes.
That was fun.
That was a blast.
That was a lot of fun. I'm actually wearing one of my DM shirts from GaryCon.
Oh, that's awesome. You know what? I should have gotten out my GaryCon one, but I still have that nice polo. Yeah, just an awesome convention. So, and Tempest will be joining our Mishmash New Recruits game, which has Mike Disney's backup character Norax, and a couple other people with there's a group and that's kind of where the flow in and out of group is. Last time I ran them was over Christmas, but we'll get back in with them shortly. So that's a perfect add in there for her character that's going to be created. And lastly, Mr. Korg, welcome.
Hello, yes, thank you. I make up the 4th member of the Nerdy Guide to D&D quartet, our odd little party adventuring throughout the internet, spreading information about Dungeons and Dragons.
Fantastic. And you are US, correct? You are the one US based of the.
I am the one US. I'm the one American in this group.
Yes.
Half proud, we'll say.
So you're on the same time zone.
Rocky lately.
So it's only 10 a.m. there. It's 10 a.m. for Tempest, but what time is it there? LJ, is it 3?
3 o'clock.
Okay, there you go.
3 o'clock on the dot.
3 o'clock, so it's tea time. Thank you. By the way, I was 2 followers short of 10,000, and Twitch did another purge. I lost 99 followers. So I'm back to 9. I think it's on purpose. All right, so some background here. I'm just going to give you a quick tour of what's going on, the campaign. 43 years ago, we started when the Greyhawk Folio came out. We started I started a campaign, and it was based around a group of knights that I created myself called the Order of Ulek. So if we go, this is Adam Meyer's map. Okay, this is the Great World of Greyhawk. This is called the Flanes, right, the area of this world of Earth, OERTH. All right. Greyhawk City is its mainstay, and that's here. And we adventure in Greyhawk City sometimes. I adventure mostly on the western side of this map, as the joke is, everyone knows. But a lot of our adventuring takes place in this area of where my free city of Altamira is. By the way, that box that's being worked on with Troller Games. All along these Lortmill Mountains. And there's Order of Ulek keeps all throughout the area of the southern border between the Principality of Ulek and the Pomarge, which is all humanoids. So running all the way down here. Look, even Wales Castle. So there you go, a little Brit stuff there. Yep. Yes. So, and that is where I keep most of my special groups in the area of the main part of our. Thank you for the hype train, everyone. It was awesome. On an early morning, I keep most of my campaigners in this area. So if you've seen the stuff last Saturday, that whoops, you know what?
Oops. Oops.
Whoopsie.
Whoopsie.
That will get it to the point where Darling's gonna go. Will you lock that in? You know, like she did last week. She always yells at me for my you know picture frames not being locked in. So we were up here near the Summerlin Estate. We were right in this area here during adventuring. This is the Southern Saline. So there's a lot of really cool things in the area. Ed Greenwood's group and Mike Disney, the Scarn group, a lot of it adventuring is in this area of the Lort Mill Mountains. There's Mike's character Scarn's Wolfmaster Keep right there, the ruins of it. So there's a lot of depth into this campaign of 43 years. So much so that it's when I started in 1980, this is me with my stupid hands. Here is Greyhawk canon lore, okay? I got you, Phantom afterwards. Here's canon lore, right? And here's my campaign in 1980, and here we go, right? It's completely deviated. That doesn't mean that there's not some characters, situations, but it is really, and that's why it's so, I don't know, I'm not trying to sound like a snob, but I think it's rich in lore for both published source Greyhawk and, as Gary Gygax has said, make Greyhawk your own. That's what I've done over the years. And thank you, Lily, there for putting out that Instagram post. Finally, someone defended me against Robert Wardall, and that felt good. Because that's the reason I started streaming. You understand that, right? We talked about that. That Robert.
Called me Lily there.
Did I?
Yeah, you called me
Oh,
Lily there.
I'm sorry. LJ, I apologize. I'm getting old.
We all kind of merge within each other.
Yeah, we're just like one
I'm
big
nerdy.
blob.
I'm getting old and I'm getting senile. So I hate my apologies.
Oh, don't say that, Jay. Don't say that.
Yes. Oh, I could be
Protect
doing
you at
some.
all costs.
I could be doing some crazy things at the end of this. So, love is what you make it. Well, from a Scarlet Brotherhood member, that's pretty awesome. So, campaign wise, and you think you're not going to see much of it in like a series of one shots because when we run these games, we run them in. I do not want anything hanging, just like you're at a convention, right? Got to get it done. I know it sounds like a bit of. I'm not a sandbox DM, but sandboxing DM doesn't work with miniatures and terrain that well. But try and keep the RP as fun as possible, as you can see in some of my games with all the special groups we have. We're gonna have. I know in all these games we'll be playing together. We'll have some good times. So, any questions about like the background or Greyhawk itself? Or because I know a lot of you have not, except for Lindsay, I know a lot of you have not really been subjected to what's going on Greyhawk, except for on my streams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm personally from my side of things, I'm still very new to Greyhawk, so I'm not entirely at the point where I would know what questions to ask, if that makes sense.
Right.
That makes total sense.
It does. I'll give you some things. Some of the antitheses you may see, and this is where the crossover with Arid is going. But there is a group in this area of the SUS outside Altamira that has been people of less desirable, let's say, down in our lucks in the squatter encampments of Altamira have been disappearing, just going off. Well, is that a good thing or a bad thing? But there are these corrupted creatures called beastmen now roaming about. So that is going on right now as we speak. A lot of people don't know what is behind that, but there's some demonic influence. You know, and these are adventures that go on. I'll say this: any adventure that you have is campaign part. It's not separate. It's not a one-off con adventure. It doesn't matter. Whatever happens in your games happens in my campaign. That's what, because you may interact with other groups. I may bring other NPCs to interact with you during the game. So,
Very cool.
Another thing, there's a group called the Dark Brotherhood. The Dark Brotherhood has existed in my games since the early '80s. They are always, and this is before I really knew about the Scarlet Brotherhood. So just note that, please. They worship the main deity they worship is the goddess Leviatar. Now, Leviatar is a deity from Deities and Demigods, which is technically not a Greyhawk deity, but she's the Maiden of Pain. Yes,
Lovely.
yes. Uses a scourge, and yes, she's the main deity that you will. And if I throw you up against some lower level of those, or that could be nasty too. Let me see if I can find a picture of. It may not be on this machine. So I have a portrait workshop picture of the leader Holly. I don't have yes, as you can see, that's a scourge in her hand. Now Mike Disney painted a great mini for her, but I don't see that. It may be on my PC downstairs, but yes. So yes, that evil little smirk. Yeah. So
That scourge is really cool.
yeah, and yeah, that's her favorite weapon because, of course, it inflicts a lot of pain. So, and she is a high-level specialty priestess of Leviatar. Yes. Oh yeah. Do you have a blog or synopsis somewhere? So Scarlet, everything is on my streams. I don't blog. Everything is on this. We have 243 Gabbins and 197 Legends of Lore episodes. It's all, that's where I do it. I do it all, and they're all saved on YouTube, the YouTube Mirror. So, and that's just some of the other things. Now, there's always going to be adventuring on lesser goals. Not every adventure's we save the world, right? It's not that way. There's adventures that'll be small based, something in a village, or a plague's going through. I'll mix it up for you. Don't worry, we'll have a blast with that. So
you always gotta love when an adventure starts from the simplest of concepts, like, oh hey, we were trying to subdue a watermelon thief, and then suddenly you're saving the world once again. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, kind of like original Tolkien. What was it? Farmer Giles of Ham. Was that it? Did I get that right? His first book. It went from a village saved to Silmarillion to so that saved the world.
Farmer Giles of Ham. I've never heard of this book, though.
I think that's Tolkien's first book.
Oh
yes.
Yep. Not me casually adding that to my reading list.
Absolutely, you should. So
adding it to my shopping basket.
All right. So the groups. Now, Tempest, you're in a good position because they already have every class they need, so you can throw in whatever. I have brought my library here. These are 6 of my 20-some books down in my basement.
Jesus Christ.
Once again, I am old school, and I'll say this one time. I already said this to LJ beforehand. This is my Classes and Races book. I'm not changing the name of it, okay? Whatever you want to use, that's fine. But I can't peel the sticky off. So I'm just kidding. So this is the main book that I utilize out of, and then we have. Let me go back here. I have yeah. You like that? I know. So that's me being a little arrogant there, but it doesn't matter. It's just terminology. It has nothing to do with the game itself. The game is a wonderful, wonderful game. Everyone can play. Everyone should enjoy D&D. Everyone should enjoy, a wonderful experience, and terminology doesn't matter to me. So I'm going to throw this up here. If I can get this. Oh my God, I almost said something that sounded really derogatory. If I can get this up. I did just say that, didn't I? Here's a cross-reference chart. Now, this stuff doesn't leave me my books, but let me see if I can blow this up a little bit here. All right. Here's here's a lot of the class offerings in 1E. All right. There's a lot of subclasses, and there's a lot of options here. Hey, Greg, good to see you. So, what I'd like to say is this. I know we've talked about some pre-character ideas, and we can go with each of you and just say, hey, I was thinking like with LJ, I was thinking a druid, or Was it Callum's thinking of Ranger or Korg? Which one of you two were thinking Ranger?
What
Yeah,
do you
Callum's
think?
thinking of Ranger. So,
It was Callum.
yes. Think of you if you know old school AD&D. Base classes: fighter, thief, magic user, cleric, paladin. You know, then you got paladin, ranger. You know, there are a lot of evolved classes off that. When Unearthed Arcana came out in '85, you have Cavalier. Yeah, these are, you know, you have Barbarian, you have, there's just a whole slew of different characters. The specialty priests evolved, elementalists. So I want to get with all of you during this and let's figure out something you think is really cool. Develop a little background, and then I'll flesh out the character, have you the sheet by the time, you know, probably by the next weekend, all of yours. So who's text? You know what? There you go. That's so funny. So my guys, of course, are starting all the, you know, BS going on Saturday. Assassin was a base class. That is true. And if you scroll down here, oh my, Assassin is on here. Now I'm going to say this. See this little tilde symbol? I think it's a tilde. That means in order to play that, you really need special permission from me because they're either in playtest or they're at the point where I'm like, no, I'm not just gonna throw an assassin into a game and deal with all those issues. All right, so yeah, like even
There
Jester's
goes my
on here.
chance.
Yeah, well, do you really? You know, assassins. I have a bounty hunter class, which is a great alternative for it. The Guild of Bounty Hunters is centered in the Free City of Altamira. It's a wonderful class. In fact, Tempest, you were talking about Sabine on Thursday. Shadow Match Bounty Hunter. The Mandy's character, right, from the Slav Squad, Exeli, Shadow Match Bounty Hunter class. So the Bounty Hunter is a big thing. I have the class made up for Troller Games already for the box set. And yeah, so please note, this is just a guide to help. So we will talk through it. So assassins never get to be as badass as they appear. Exactly, Dale. They're kind of weak. They're kind of a weak class. Yeah. I agree 100%. That's why the Bounty Hunter is so much better because you got so many other abilities, and plus you can multi-class it. So, all right. Who wants to throw out the first idea as far as like, I'm thinking about this?
I'll let one of them go first because realistically, I am
Flexible.
Yeah, completely. I find character creation really fun. So, and building characters as a whole, and so trying something new is going to be very exciting for me.
Good. Yeah, Scarlett. I'm working jointly with Anna Meyer on the Free City of Altamira box set. It's being worked on Kickstarter, hopefully around Labor Day. It's gonna be badass. So, yep. Come on, all right, LJ, Druid, right? You're talking about Druid.
Yeah, so I was hang on,
Don't be
because
all
I don't
shy.
know much about 1E, and this is why I'm quite hesitant to talk about a character idea.
Well, why?
Like-
Because it doesn't matter what. So if you come up with a character idea, it doesn't matter what edition you're playing.
Like,
A 5e DM would fit into 5e. A Pathfinder DM would fit into Pathfinder, and I'm an old school DM. I'd fit it in, right?
Yeah, true, but like it's like talk about like classes and stuff. Like as you know, like 5e is completely different. It's like assassin is a subclass for a rogue, and it's like very OP because like they get to hit it as soon as they hit the die, and if they get a natural 20, it's a critical hit already. So it's a bit confusing. I don't know. I just want to hear maybe do a druid because I'm very. I don't know how different a druid is to 5e compared to 1e, but that's along the line because I'm too comfortable playing a ranger or a rogue, so I want to like branch out.
Well, we talked about some options with you already, and we talked about because druid is technically a base class, you can multi-class it. So you could have a druid mage, a druid thief, a fighter druid. You got a lot of options in Druid in old school 1e, 2e.
Yeah.
Now there's some with 4 players in your group, it may be an option to multi-class that character because you really want to have your base classes covered, right? You really want to have a tank fighter or a good fighter. I don't care if it's a DPS fighter or whatever. A spellcaster, healer, and a lock picking thief type. Druid Thief takes care of both those. Another option is Ranger Druid.
I'm too comfortable with a ranger. Like this
Yep.
this whole
You wanna get
experience
outside.
of 1E.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's trying to bring me out the comfort zone.
You want to
I'm
get out
like-
of your comfort zone?
Yeah.
I'm gonna. Time for the head exploding stuff.
Jay just starts
Ah,
going
all
into a villain monologue.
So, in my
When I was a
game,
young boy.
in my game, let's go over to. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be on this screen so I can share this with you. I'm gonna show you some of my options. Here is my Avenger class that we discussed. Now, Avenger is. I will be honest. All of you who know, Baldur's Gate 2. Okay, from the 90s, this class first appeared as a second edition option in Baldur's Gate 2. The Avenger. Avenger is a druid subclass. You cannot multi-class this class. This is a druid that really is all about I am a protector of nature. and I'm going to kick the shit out of anyone who doesn't believe that. They have hybrid spells. They get elementalist spells, like lightning spells. They get earth spells as well. They also, 20 years before this argument appeared, they can shape. Now, this is at a little bit higher levels. They can shape change into monster forms. Starting at 5th, huge spider. Let me blow this up. So I'm ahead of frickin' 5e, everyone. Suck it. So, sorry. So, yes. Look at this. Look at this at 8th level. Jeez. Well, huge spider.
An owlbear.
Owlbear.
13th, green dragon. Now, there are no 13th level Avengers in the campaign yet, still. The highest level Avenger is only made in my campaign, and I've had this class for 20 years, is like 10th.
Bet.
Northern Bears polar.
Bet, she
Bet.
says.
Bet.
Yes, and then what happens is these spells, these elementalist spells, which are a lot of them are from Great Net Spellbook, because I have the elementalist spellcaster class book here. 5 different elementalists. 6. Jeez. So we're taking part of the quasi list, which is lightning. We're taking part of the elemental earth list, and you're going to get those to supplement your druid. Which also, I have the Druid Avenger book here, because you're basically going to be a specialty priest druid type, which means you're going to have a deity that you are going to worship. One of 4, because I limit it to 4 in this game for control, though MUs have a turning point. Yes, that is true, Dale. They do become amazing at a certain point. That is so true. So, and those 4 deities are the following. If you're Sylvan Elf, Rolfane, Ralafil, Eluna of the Forest, which is a great Greyhawk deity. The bad one is the Master of the Hunt. Does anyone remember deities and demigods, that story? The Master of the Hunt with the horns.
Vaguely.
I may go to deities and demigods and show you that. It's such a great story. And then the other one would be Ceranos, who comes from a Celtic mythology. It's like nature personified with a little bit of an evil, a little bit of a nasty evil twinge to him, but tends to be a neutral character in my campaign. So those would be the 4 deity options, which we can work out. So you would get the specialty druid list along with these spells you could have in a supplemental spell book, so you could have a hybrid of both. And some of these are really cool. And plus you get to change it into monsters, which is normally in 1st edition, druids get shape change ability at 7th. You're going to get it 2 levels earlier. So, and it's limited to 3 times per day at 7th, but you would get a bonus huge, and you could change, once you get to like 10th, you could change it into any of these forms as part of your 3 forms. Fighting on a higher hit die table. Yeah, because, hey, Dirty, good to see you. So, yes, that's the Avenger. It's a cool class. I will say so myself. Here's some problems with it. Because of it, you start with an initial statistic of -2 strength and -2 to con. You're not very physically strong. That's why you're relying on your monster forms. Right. Wisdom, charisma, base of 15. Remember, these are all old school stats. I work up the stats so the character works. Yep. That's the Avenger. You could also do a specialty druid of one of those 4 where you're really into that deity instead of being a multi-class druid, thief, mage, druid, or just straight druid. But if you want to go and really test your comfort, this is the class to do it. Not a single special group character out of all the ones I do at Greenwoods has ever played an Avenger before.
What?
Then I will do it to be unique.
There you go.
Yeah, if she wasn't gonna do it, I would. That's so cool.
Well, here's the thing: you're in a different group, so you can.
You're right. I can. I want to hear more about the other ones.
Oh yeah, there's
little
a lot
bit,
of other
so-
classes. Yeah, remember I have 43 or 44 character classes. So yes, so this Avenger is cool. Background. Now we're talking races: human, half elven. I'm half elven, half orc. Staying with me, elven. Sylvan is wood elf. Think of Mirkwood. Gray elves are from Selene. The noble elves and high elves tend to be from Duchy Ulek and Greyhawk and City and all their, it's just different subs of elves and Greyhawk. It's not, they're all got little minor tweaks to them, but it depends on where you want to be from. So you got a lot of options here, and I'll help you out with that. Do you want to be from the Sylvan Elf lands, or you could be from the Axewood? As we go onto the map here, let me just show you.
I don't know. I think my power of nobility has like stretched between all of my characters that I think I should have a humble beginning in a bit of woods.
Nice.
Rather than a castle.
So this is where a lot of the Sylvan Elves. If you all love Animire, Ranger Mage character Imri comes from here. This is where all the Sylvan Elves come from. The Axewood, close. They come from the Axewood or Vespi Forest in my game for the most part. The Sylvans. You can also be half elven, which gives you more. So there's the Axewood, and as you can see, it's on the border of Duchy Ulek down to Altamira. Here's the Fairy Kingdom of Selene. All the gray elves. When you see of house classes, we talked about on Saturday night, we had Veriel, which was Heather Hex's character, an Elven Cavalier. She came from one of the 10 noble houses I have in Selene. House Selmelin, which was down here. Lady Rolta Yoland is House Vicstrolin up here. So there's the 10 noble houses of Selene. You also come from a lesser house of Selene if you don't want to be that pretentious. That's high elves, gray elves. So, but if you want to be a Sylvan Elf, it's perfect. Sylvan Elf Avenger is perfect. Or half Sylvan, whatever you want to do. So, Scottish. I always lean toward the more wild elves. Sylvan, yeah. Grugok. Grugok cannot be this because Grugok cannot be mages. Remember in old school, the Grugok, the wild elves, cannot be wizard spellcasters. They can only be fighters or druids. They can't even be clerics. They can only be druids. So, yeah, and that's the land of the Grugok is up here in the Vespi Forest. Yep, that's a good point, Jeff. So there, think about that a little bit. Let the click, right? All right. Who wants to go next? Druid, you want to talk about Rangers?
Callum,
Yeah, sure, Callum.
Callum's putting his hand up.
Let's talk about Rangers, all right? So we'll talk about the Rangers are a fantastic class. First edition, they kind of were and then we enhanced them because we always try to make the game better. So that's why a lot of people go, this isn't really first edition. It's 1.J edition. So here's a Ranger class.
1.J.
Yeah, that's Animire.
Trademark it.
That is Animire.
Yeah, they're saying that. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yes. Who are these? So, good. There's Garner, right? We have LJ from a Nerdy Guy D&D. Hidden next to her is Callum, Nerdy Guy D&D. Korg, Nerdy Guy to D&D, and Tempest.
I would hope so.
Yes, you would hope so. So the Ranger, what we've done to enhance them is somewhere between first and second edition. They realized they're just like fighters that can track, and that's it, and that's kind of dumb, right? So we made it so that you can play different styles of Rangers. Ranger with a shield, a little more better armor class, or a dual wielding Ranger type if you want, but you have to wear lighter armor, and that's what we're talking about here, where you wear studded leather and non-coturns, two-fisted fighting or two-weapon fighting for free. You can get that. Bow with a bow is fine. You get two weapon specializations, give you extra pluses to hit. normally most of the rangers in my game will take a weapon like a sword and then a longbow or something like that. And what are my guys doing here? Yep. Rangers can hide outdoors. They gain limited spell. We moved it down to 4th. We lowered it from like 7th or 8th level down to 4th level. They get druidic spells, and if they worship a deity which has a druid specialty pre-spell list, they get that list. So they get that early on. Thank you, Jeff, for doing that. Tracking ability, of course, and they also get now favorite enemies. I mean, I'm assuming that's in 5th edition too.
Yes.
Right. They get, but at every 5 levels gained. So their first favorite enemy, they get a +2 to hit, +1 hit point per damage on level, and then at 5th level, they get a new one. They can choose. A lot of some of the ones that people take in my game, of course, humanoids. Undead's a big one. Some people go a little crazy, and one of them, I forget who it was. We have I want to say it's a ranger druid who has humans. That's his specialty.
Well,
yes.
you gotta do what you gotta do.
The druid's a great class. I mean, the ranger's a great class too. It is, because you get now you can also multi-class a ranger. Some of the ones we've talked about. In fact, a lot of those rangers that come from the Axewood are all Sylvan Elves. Like Stella Luna has a half Dark Elf, half Sylvan Elf ranger. I want to say Ranger Thief is her character. Anna Meyer's class is a Ranger Mage. So you can multi-class with a Cleric in Ranger, Thief, Druid, Magic User. You can do multi-classing too. Thing with multi-classing is then you don't get weapon specialization. Straight classes get weapon specialization in my game. So
Also, apologies for butting in here,
no,
but
please do.
this is more than likely an important question. What level are we going to be starting at?
4.
4.
4.
Thank you very much.
Tempest, you'll probably be 5th. It's just based on the group. I want to start you all at 4th. 3rd's a little. I want to start at 4 because that way, after two adventures, maybe you get to 5th pretty easily, and then I want to start you at 4th. Yeah, it's a great question. Thank you for asking that. Yeah, 4th level. Yep. Callum, what questions you have?
What is bounty hunter? A bounty hunter sounded. Pretty
What is the bounty hunter?
This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the
This is the
way.
way.
This is the way.
The bounty hunter. By the way, this, like I said, this will definitely be appearing. Let me see which one of these is newer. That's 1220. I got so many files here. All right, this one.
Callum, if you play as a bounty hunter, I'll try to become a gnome or a halfling.
So you can be Grogu.
I'll be Grogu.
Hey,
for you,
Lee.
Callum.
Oh, my
Oh yeah,
gosh.
dude. Yeah, Nerdy Guide to D&D.
Yo,
Yep.
Mandalorian 1E edition. Let's go.
So once again, to show you how freaking old I am, I created this character class and I don't know the exact date, between 1981 and 1983. Because assassins, you have to be evil in the old school 1st edition rules. And I said, we need something to change that up. The bounty hunter. Now, if you watch Thursday night, I know some of you can't watch all the time, but I had Sabine Winchester, bounty hunter. Exeli has a bounty hunter. The bounty hunter renders unconscious, not outright kills. So here's some of the things. Bounty hunters have the same hit die as assassins, die 6. All right. They here's all human, half elf, elven, dwarf, half orc, half ogre. A lot of variety there on dwarven bounty hunters are kind of cool. I also have, if you all know, the 2 of the favorite NPCs in the campaign out of Altamira, members of the Bounty Hunters Guild. I have a bugbear and a gnome NPC. I mean, not gnome, goblin, with really, really childish names. Yes. Really childish names. Let me see if I can find their
See,
miniatures.
I feel like Grogu would be more of a goblin than anything
Yeah.
like that, or like a kobold. It's something more like that instead of a gnome or something.
Yo,
Right.
he infiltrating Jay's stream with his campaign with Star Wars equivalent characters.
I'm looking to see. I don't think I have. My other. This is
No
such a new
Star Wars
machine.
classes.
What's that?
No Star Wars classes.
It's so funny. I wasn't even thinking about that all those years ago. But the bounty hunter class is one of the few rogue classes that gets a limited weapon specialization if you're single class, +1 hit, +2 damage. You also can set magical traps
Oh, that's
at
cool.
levels. All right. So here's your thieving abilities. You get the set trap ability by Lennikov at thief same level. All others at thief level -2, kind of like an assassin. Once per day in every 4 levels, a slow trap at first, 5th level, whole person trap, Ulek's resilient sphere trap at 9th, and at 14th if you're super uber. Save at -6 or maze trap. All right. The bounty hunter's a cool class. Blunt
I
weapons,
have a question.
please.
So is a bounty hunter? This is what Callum just asked. Is this a subclass or a main class?
It's its own class, just like remember in first edition, everything is its own class. Druid, illusionist. I even says subclass of mage, it's its own class. Monk, assassin, paladin, ranger, mage. You can multi-class this as well, as we have seen with shadow mage, magic user. Okay, cleric. So and we talked about this last on Wednesday night's Gab Legends and Lore. There's a cleric bounty hunter in Greyhawk City, Walt's character named Alphonse, who's second in command of the Night Watch, a St. Cuthbert worshiper. He's a cleric bounty hunter. This class works very well. Altamira is the base headquarters is the only known bounty hunters guild in all of Greyhawk, the world of Greyhawk, because it's mine, right? So this works really well. A multi-class bounty hunter mage is really cool. A bounty hunter shadow mage. That's a lot of new spells to learn. Bounty hunter magic user is neat. Or you can just go straight bounty hunter so that you get your weapon specialization. I love a class that enhances another class, and that's kind of the idea with the shadow mage bounty hunter, because they can go into their shadow aura, disappear, sneak around, and if I know Tempest, you were watching, you saw Sabine went all the way around, right, and then went up, boom, killed, knocked out.
That was so cool.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
That's a neat, and we're talking about this is an NPC. I know. So my players bust my balls. I'll use that word severely on all the Winchester clan. They go back to 1981, and she is the 4th child of Elijah Winchester the 3rd and Charisse, the mayor of Altamira. So if we go here, and here's the picture of her. Right, that's her, and the miniature looks almost exactly like that too.
Does it really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's so cool.
And
I loved her portrait. Her portrait was my favorite one
Cool.
from that night.
Thank you. And that's Sabine Winchester. Yes. So she kind of doesn't, and they know who it is, but she's in Narwhal now, and they just, so she's not supposed to. They're not supposed to know she's a Winchester, but so that's another option. Bounty Hunter's really cool. Bounty Hunters track, just like Rangers. There are a lot of classes that track in the game. Ranger, Bandit, Specialty Priest of Tritharian, Bounty Hunter, and a couple others have tracking ability. So you don't need to have a Ranger to be able to track who you're going after. There's a lot of classes that have that capability. Jocelyn is the greatest bounty hunter. There's Buildermaster Crafter on, everyone. I know he's out and about, but he has Jocelyn Sentrak. Is she a Shadow Mage bounty hunter too, Bill? I think she was the first one, wasn't she? Yeah. So it's a nice mix. So Callum, that gives you some ideas. So and then you can join the Guild of Bounty Hunters in Altamira, and other missions will come because of that. So. Yep.
Yeah.
I told you your heads are going to explode because this is 43 years of development, right? So I'm not holding anything back here because I've never done one of these Session Zeros live. I'm giving you every single option you can have. Just note, play the character and see if you like it or not. I can always kill that character off and start another one too.
I don't like this
That's
character.
a valid point.
Yes.
I don't like this one. Jay, can you kill it?
Yes.
Sure, gladly.
And
Like every session.
I will say this: how many characters in my campaign does Little Bones and Darling Creepshow have? And their special guest people. How many players? Right. They don't have one. They each have three. They each have three characters now. Mike Disney has two
Jeez.
characters. Anna has three characters. Right. So there you go. So it tends to people. I'm hopefully that says something about the game. People enjoy it. So Callum, what other questions do you have?
I'm not sure. I'm thinking maybe human bounty hunter or something.
Yeah, that's a good one. Now you can actually humans can't multi-class with certain exceptions. Shadow Mage Bounty Hunter can. Human Bounty Hunter straight up is a great class because if your stats are good enough, you can also do what's called dual classing with humans back in first edition. You go all the way through to a certain level, stop, and then you start a new class up. And when that class surpasses your other class's level, you get the powers of both. It's an extremely powerful option. That's dual classing, first edition. Yes. So you'll notice that my player Alan does this with almost every human he has. He'll take ramp up the fighter at 7th, and then switch him out to a mage or he's taken a character, an archer, up to 7th, and then made that. I think it was actually 9th on that one, and then turned it into a magic user. Archer, just a dual class. It's a special thing only straight humans can get. It's a special first edition rule. Darling is cool, isn't she? So, yep. Darling is very cool and very, got the.
This is the way.
Phil Mafani is just one of the funniest characters of all time and really hysterical. So, what other questions do you have? So far, as we've gone through a couple options here, Human Bounty Hunter sounds like a good one. Now,
I don't know. I think I'm really looking forward to playing the Avenger class
so we got
with the
Avenger.
Druid.
That's good. We got an Avenger. So we have a Spellcaster Healer, and we have a Bounty Hunter Rogue type. So two. Yep. Yeah. So, Korg, what do you? That doesn't mean Lily can't play a Clark Mage, or Lily can't play. Whatever she wants to play, it tends to work. Korg, what are you thinking?
So I have two ideas for things. So the first one that I had does sort of fill a spellcaster role. It was just a kind of weird idea that I had in my head. Are you familiar with the character of Radagast from Tolkien's world? How he's kind of like, nature-ish vibes.
He's kind of a crazy druid.
Exactly. I kind of had a thought along those lines. It would be essentially a spellcaster whose body is essentially a living terrarium. Because
disgusting.
There are a lot of spells that require material components like grasshopper hind legs, live crickets, live spiders, feathers. So what if a spellcaster's body and clothes essentially provided living spaces for those things to be naturally generated, so to speak.
Yeah.
And this idea came into my mind. There's one scene, and I believe it's The Hobbit, where we see Radagast sort of take off his hat, and there's a little bird's nest.
Yeah, and there's egg. There's crap rolling down his head too, right?
Exactly. So what if you had a character that purposefully had a bird's nest on their head because that's a natural source of feathers for using Featherfall?
So it's a great idea. This group is going to stink to high hell. I mean, they're not going to be like at bars. They're like, all right. So what you're describing, and the audience nailed it, is a multi-class druid magic user. Okay. Because that'll give you the capability of getting all the natural. And I don't care if there's two druids in the party. The Avengers, its own type, right? But that's what I foresee it as, a druid mage. Now, if you want to go with some other options to make it different, but that's what you're describing, I think, because you'll have spells, because he's one of the wizards. Radagast's supposed to be a wizard. He's one of the
Yeah.
circle of. He's supposed to be a wizard, and he's more druidic. So yeah.
Chaotica makes a good point. You wouldn't be able to bathe.
Well,
That's-
but
No
that's
bathing
okay.
allowed.
That's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
Yes.
Is it a sacrifice the rest of your party is willing to make?
No,
That's
we're
a
not.
great
We're definitely
question.
not.
Right. So that's great, though. I mean, that's what I see. So we're talking in the realms of elven or half elven, then, because there are the only two options there for
Okay.
for that multi-class option. But that
Yeah,
gives
I
you
did-
a wide range of spell offering. I mean,
Mhm.
you have a lot of spells, even at 4/4, 3/4, whatever you are level wise to start. Yeah. 'Cause
Yeah.
remember,
I
old school multi-classing is different than Pathfinder 3rd edition and 5th edition.
Yep.
Both classes go up. Your experience gets split between two, and you're going up in two classes at the same time. So
Mhm.
but that's that's actually a good thing. So
I did have another idea
Let's hear
that
it.
might, I suppose, fill a bit more of a niche since, we have potential Avenger and then we have potential Bounty Hunter. The idea that I think this would have to be a human, because I don't think half orcs can't be monks, right?
no, they cannot in my game. It's all
Okay.
human monks. That's it. You can play
Okay.
a monk, absolutely. Skagith will try and kill you outright when he watches. So, yeah, he's a Swedish streamer who he hates monks. But that's okay. That's funny. So
Okay.
Monk.
I'll be on the lookout. I'll
So,
make sure to keep my initiative high.
I'm gonna tell you, monks are nothing like 5th edition monks. All right.
Okay.
So 1st edition monks are a challenge to play even more than any of their weaker classes early on, but that's okay. So they can use weapons. They don't wear any armor. They get a lot of neat abilities, including some limited thieving abilities. And as they go up, they get more and more powerful. And they're very stoic. They're very, they don't keep much wealth at all. They're limited to 5 magic items permanently. That's it.
Mhm.
So, but it's a cool idea. And you have to be of lawful alignment. So if it's lawful good, lawful neutral, because
Mhm.
I don't allow
So-
evil characters. Yep.
So my primary question though is there any way to multi-class? Are you able to multi-class a fighter with a monk?
No.
Or
You can
anything
dual class.
fighter related?
You can dual class. So if you
Dual
want,
class,
I'm
okay.
done with my monk career, but I want to go on to be a fighter instead. Yes, you could dual class the character down the road. I'll make
Okay.
sure the stats work for it.
How
Yep.
does dual classing work? Do you
Once
have to
you-
give up all of your fighter levels? or-
So say you start as a fighter, go up to 7th
Yep.
level, and decide I want to become Cain, and I want to walk the earth. Right? We've all seen, right? We've all seen kung fu, or we've all seen what's it called? Pulp Fiction. I'm just going to walk the earth now, right? You'll start out fresh as a 1st level monk. You'll still have your hit points and whatever items you have, and then until you surpass your original level monk, you cannot utilize your monk abilities till you become surpass in fighter. That's how it works. But then you become a super powerful character with both abilities. But only your fighter goes up only your second class goes up from that point on.
Okay, but you have to get to a really high level in fighter in order to
Seventh.
seventh. Yeah.
7th, and that's my game. The stop off point for dual classing is 7th, and I'm going to tell you why. It's the rule of Tim. We've talked about this on stream. Tim, early days, Tim would always find ways to abuse the system, and we're talking about the ever mysterious Tim, everyone. So, and I'll put out the Tim emote here, and that's why I have it. Tim loves a good critical emote. His head. He would make a 1st level fighter stop immediately and then start a new character. Start a new class, and then so he get all the specializations and the saving throws and the higher hit points at first, and you have a 1st level, over and over and over, right? Yes, not Tim.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's super limited for magic items. Tim is of course, but Tim is that's why we love Tim so much. You all get that. Did I say turtle?
Okay. I don't wait.
Wait.
I don't think you said
Lily.
turtle.
Did I say turtle? Come on, I'm joking.
Here's the thing,
No, you didn't know
LJ.
this.
During our next meeting between the 4 of us in our group, I'm going to call Lily LJ, and
Yes.
just see how long it takes her to catch on.
That's awesome.
Yes. I'm gonna call you Callum, and then like Callum Cork. There you go.
Scott,
Yeah.
Scarlet, no offense intended. This is what happens. My campaign's 43 years old, and that's why we have over 400 episodes of shows discussing the Grail campaign and my campaign in particular. And they're all on they stay on Twitch for 90 days. They're all on YouTube, all of them, and they're all in. So just put one up and take a look, and something interests you. There's a show on. Think of a topic. There's a show on it. So, yep.
If it makes you feel any better, Scarlett, I literally started watching, I think, right before GaryCon. So it's been less than a month, technically speaking.
Yes.
But it's one of those things that you kind of just get thrown in the deep end, and honestly, it's the best way to learn.
Absolutely.
In my personal opinion, because you have this time to absorb everything, and it's worthwhile.
And that's the thing. This is all about enjoying the game and enjoying the game from another perspective. And I think playing first edition, you'll be like, I think you'll more. Once again, I don't want to sound arrogant. You'll appreciate the 5th edition system more when you see how old school's played and how we play with miniatures and ranges and movement rates and things like that. Which I do it all for you anyway. So
Yeah,
right, we get it all.
even watching all of this, it's one of those things that I have come to appreciate and look at 5e a little bit differently. Not necessarily like completely changing my world, but
Right.
it's one of those things that it added on. It makes you can see the way that the game has changed over over the years.
Absolutely, you have, and I haven't kept it static because that would be bad for me. Reason we make changes is because my players have asked, or we're interested ourselves in doing things, enhancing it. It's got to be 4,000 to 5,000 spells. They're not all in just, hey, here's a player's handbook, right? Notice, for example, I kiss Ed Greenwood's ass all the time, right? So I use spells that Ed has created in Forgotten Realms against him in my Greyhawk campaign. That's fun. I use monsters that Ed has created, and if you saw during the GaryCon episode. So, yeah. No, it's all good. So, hey, of the two, I like the Druid Mage. I like that idea.
So before we do that,
We don't have to. Yeah, we're not locked in. We're not locked in.
No. I haven't listed out the full idea for the more martial class that I was thinking of.
All right.
I was asking those questions to kind of figure out what was possible and what was not.
Okay.
Here's my thought. It would essentially be if we wanted to fill a more martial role, the character that I was thinking of would be an old half-orc who served in some military capacity. Maybe he was a captain or some point. He would be filling a fighter role or one of the subclasses thereof. And the sort of gimmick about him in terms of his character is that he has been discharged from like their military service, so to speak. And now they are old and they are attempting to live their life as a sort of monk or more spiritualistic, but through constant comedy of errors situation, they always find themselves getting dragged back into their fighter habits. They'll always find themselves in the middle of a brawl. Just this old sort of like at first sort of slightly skinny looking half orc dude who like nobody really thinks is going to pack that much of a punch, and just for whatever reason always finds himself in the middle of trouble caused by other people that forces him to like whip out the old fighter techniques again and show these youngins who's boss. So that's the entire idea.
So what I can do, I've made some exceptions with people who made bards up, because that's you go all the way through fighter, you go all the way through the thief before you even get to bard. Mm-hmm. So I can say that you consider yourself half orc, but you're like 25%. I've done this for Alan has a character, Tharg Warmonger. His dad is legendary in my campaign, Garth Warmonger, who's a half orc. Mm-hmm. Character is only 1/4 orc, so he considers so he's based as a human, but he calls himself half orc.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we utilize the human rules. So, but I also can make him cap out at 3rd on fighter, and then he is 3rd fighter, and then whatever level, first monk or whatever to start out. It's going to be a challenge until you surpass your fighter levels, which would be you'd have to get to 4. You understand what I'm saying? I'll start you out as you'll have a fighter level that's not used. By the way, by rule in double classing, you're going to love this. If you utilize your original class that you have not surpassed yet in desperation, you zip out your experience for the adventure until you surpass. We've had that happen multiple times. I had that happen where so Walt has a paladin who's dual class to a mage. Early on is adventuring. They got into a fight with a dragon, and the dragon wiped out almost everyone breathing. And he was the last, like one of the last 2 left. And he goes, no experience for this adventure. He pulls out his Holy Avenger and starts attack. And he did that. Lawful good character. He got That's an option, man. See?
Oh god, it's the epitome. If somebody like loses out on XP for something, it's literally the epitome of the meme. Wait a minute, you guys are getting paid?
Right, exactly.
I'm not.
Yeah.
So it's something to consider in the course of role play. I can make that work. I can make that work where you're capped out and you're dual classing to 3rd level fighter because you were a sergeant or a lieutenant, and you stayed there and you were basically a cloistered fighter all those years.
Yeah, that's kind of the thought. And then like whenever anybody meets them in the present day, they look at them and they're like, oh, there's like they'll probably like be meditating on a hillside or something like that. And then everybody's like, oh wow, they're so peaceful, they're so serene.
Yeah.
But because they find it difficult to lead the monk way of life, after like 5 minutes, they'll just start screaming and be like, why can't I be calm? And then they'll just go back to it.
It's a good idea, and as a matter of fact, so I actually have a location that you could come from in here that you've gone to. So I don't know if Bill's still on. I know Bill's doing some things here, but we have the scriptorium. We have that scriptorium that's being built by Bill from Gamescape 3D that's going outside the Free City of Altamira. It's called the Learned of Sojourn's Repose, and that would be a place that the monks and sages and all would be a knowledge place, and he may have actually gone there seeking his, trying inner peace or whatever, right? And that's where he's coming out of, and that's really real close to the Free City of Altamira. It will be eventually.
And he just couldn't find it. Imagine if he got kicked out.
Yeah,
like, I have come for inner peace, and then just like within 5 days, they're like, "You gotta leave, buddy." I'm sorry to say it.
Yes, and he'll be out on his own, wandering about. So I will have this due to time constraints on our stream. I will have it that you all kind of know each other, but maybe you haven't been around together that much, right? So you get to feel each other out on adventuring. But the initial meetup, normally a meetup and an adventure takes a long time, and I don't want to. We'll have some of that, but so that's your 2 options. Just let me know. But you can consider other things too. But he will be, if he's a 3rd level fighter and then his monk levels first, that'll be hysterical. Because he'll have very limited attack. Monks fight as clerics, which is not too bad in old school. But you'll have your special weapon specializations, all sorts of other things. You won't be able until you get to 4th level monk. You won't be able to freely go back to your martial fighting style without penalty.
He initially started as a fighter, doesn't want to be a fighter, wants to be a monk, is not good at being a monk.
Right.
It's the entire premise. He exists in neither world perfectly. So
it works. I can make it work.
Well, thank you very much. Kind of looking at where other people's characters are being placed right now, would you still recommend the sort of spellcaster druid?
No, either one
option.
No, we can make either one work.
Okay, cool.
Either one, because another thing is we don't know what Lily's gonna do.
That's true.
So
maybe I hold off on making my final decision until we hear.
I will write up the monk because I think it's a really cool concept. Let me just put some stuff down and get it all, and then if you want to change out, that's fine. It's not a big deal.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Cool.
so right now we're looking at an Avenger, a Bounty Hunter, and a dual class fighter / monk switch, which is it's pretty amazing. It's pretty funny. It's great. Yes. So and
Cool.
you'll be and the great thing is you're gonna have like 30. You're gonna have probably 35 hit points when you start because
go.
you'll be up to 30. Yeah, that's
Is
funny.
that good?
Yeah,
That's good,
yeah,
right?
oh yeah, for
for
being a first
fourth
level
level.
monk. Yeah. What about a
Yeah.
vampire? Stop, Bash.
I was wondering how long it'd take you to see it.
Stop.
Wait, what's going on?
King Bashman.
Vampire Thrommel.
Jeff.
And it's-
Yeah, Jeff was at Gary Con there as well. Yeah, so it's King busting my stones about. It goes back to the Return of the Temple of Elemental Evil and how much I hate it. So no
Puppets,
Dragonborn,
the damn
Mike.
Puppets.
What about a dragon?
No Dragonborn. Don't start. By the way,
Damn
Mike,
puppets.
watch this. I gotta make Mike stop right away. Keep it up, and this group's gonna find 4 cloaks of invisibility in the first adventure.
Yo, Harry Potter.
Because
Harry
Mike's all,
Potter.
yeah, Harry Potter. Because Mike's always like,
That
I want.
sounds like a
Oh, what is
threat.
it?
It is a
Oh,
threat to Mike.
Mike.
What is it, Harry?
Yes.
I'm a lizard.
Tino, see now everyone's busting my. The chat is going. No halfling mages. Halflings cannot be wizards in old school. Sorry. Gnomes can be illusionists. All right, so we
We have
have
begun
we
something
have some
foul.
really good ideas here. We got an Avenger, Sylvan Elf Avenger, correct? There, LJ. Sylvan Elf, right? Sylvan Elf, female Sylvan Elf Avenger, male human bounty hunter. I love that, and a half orc, but it'll be 25%. But he considers himself half orc.
So I'm multi-classing the Avenger and the Druid, or is it? I'm confused.
No, Avenger's its own class. It's its own class, but you have druid abilities. You're a druid
Okay.
with enhanced elemental spell casting, shape changing into monster form, in addition to regular naturally occurring creatures. Yes. Yes. You got it. Absolutely. That'll be a lot of fun. So, druids are a great cat. Hey, what's up? Is that Dave? Dave is. Good to see you. Let me shout you guys out. If I'm missing shout outs to anyone, I apologize. I'm trying to hit everyone as they come on. All right, Tempest.
So I want to hear about the Saxon.
The Saxon, the most damaging melee class in existence.
Oh my god! Of course I picked the.
You picked super.
Of
hatchet.
course I lean towards.
The Saxon is a foot knight. All right, let me get the Saxon special rules up here.
they fight with their foot?
They fight with no, they're the foot knight. They are, instead of a cavalier, they are a leader of considered medieval foot troops. So they can be from noble status, they can be from common status, and they are Bill. Actually, Bill the Master Crafter created this class years ago. The Saxon. Let me flip this up and we'll show them. We call it that. All right. This is a foot knight. So the foot knight has a lot of bases of a cavalier. All right. Known as the foot knight is a subclass of cavalier. It's its own class, whose purpose is to lead infantry forces. Now, as adventurers, they are super powerful. I'll tell you why in a second. Unlike cavaliers, Saxons may originate from any social background. Their main task is to lead infantry, a job considered by most nobility to be beneath them. Some decent stats. They are the only class in old school, and my old school, that can double specialized with pole arms or the two-handed sword.
Oh no. This might be the way to go for me.
They can double
off the
specialize
bat.
with a halberd. They can double specialize with a saddle sword. They can double specialize with a glaive. They can double, yeah.
See, I'm running right now. I'm
Bard
playing
each.
barbarian with a glaive. So in another campaign.
Yes. So look at. So they also get a bleeding wounds effect at 3rd level when they hit, which is hit points per level added. Save versus fear. They can actually also carry infantry devices and operate siege equipment if needed, like ballistas by themselves, right? And it is basically a variation of the Articana Cavalier class, but it's a foot knight. They are the most, by far, if you have a high strength, and here's our attack table at 7th level, you could be doing 50 points of damage a round if you hit twice. Oh yeah. Have you seen? If anyone's seen Angus McCracken just recently, Alan, that's a Saxon, and the damage is So you get an idea. Can they any backstab with the ballista? No, they don't backstab bash. I know you're busting. Now you're really busting my balls. So yeah, yes. So that's the Saxon. So they have some abilities like Cavaliers. They are not Cavaliers though. They are not immune to fear. But they fill a place in my campaign where there's a lot of commoners coming out of certain lands, and that have risen in the ranks. So we're looking at race wise, human or half elven only.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep, absolutely.
I really like that, but I also want to hear about the Shield Thane.
Shield Thane, a great class, actually created by the Insane Bill. I should not say that live, but I did, and here it is. Him, the him picking his nose emote. So there you go. That's the other Bill. That's the Bill who stopped playing like 12, 15 years ago because he just doesn't. See how you have friends that just don't play well with others. So
Yeah.
Yes, the Shield Thane is a wonderful class. It is a dwarf only. It's a dwarven class.
Okay.
It is anyone know what the Dwarven Defender is in 3rd edition? The prestige class, it's like that.
I know a tiny bit about it, but nothing crazy.
So here's what a Shield Thane does. Shield Thane is the ultimate Dwarven tank. Lawful good, lawful neutral. They automatically get the taunt ability, and this is so old that I edited it in here. They get bonuses versus missiles and missile-like attacks. They must use a heavy kite shield, armor. They want as heavy as armor as possible, battle axe, Footman's Mace, Morning Star, whatever, Warhammer, but they have to fight with a armor and shield. So they get a shield dodge ability like monks, to avoid damage. Shield bash at 7th level. Here's their, they must, if they don't fight with a shield, they're -2 to hit, -4 in armor class. They may not use two-handed weapons. They may not use missile weapons except handheld, like throwing axes with their shield out. They tend to be almost what a Dwarven Paladin would be if there was one, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they don't have to be good. They can be lawful neutral as well. So they can be very lawful. So it is a cool class. A Shield Thane tanking against a Giant is one of the best things in the game because Giants are -4 to hit dwarves. I don't know if they are in 5th edition, but in 1st edition they are.
No, that's actually really cool.
Yeah, so yeah, it's a really great class. This will fit in to your group because Narax, Nraks, Mike Disney's character is a Dwarven fighter.
Oh, that's cool. I guess there is a concept. So I'm a sucker for like Anglo-Saxon and Celtic mythologies and stories along those lines. So what would it be like to take a Saxon and multi-class into Druid?
Can't multi-class Saxons.
No!
Cavaliers
Damn it!
Super specialized classes. Shield Thane, Monk. That's a dual. Yeah, you can't multi-class them.
Fair enough. I just had to ask. I had to ask.
I got you there. Yes, Elementalists, the spellcaster class, you can't multi-class them.
Okay.
Yeah, Wild Mages can't multi-class them. Yeah, there's a lot of them that they're so intensive. The Cavalier is another one. Like when the Cavalier class came out, horsemanship, all that, it was a non-multi-classable.
Okay. Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
But hey, worst you could say is no.
Exactly.
So.
I have no problem saying no.
I know.
My campaign, my rules. And look, I'm flexible. I'm flexible in working out a background with a character to make it so that you're happy with it. And we've done that, and that's the thing. I want everyone to enjoy what they're playing and have a good time with it.
Yeah, I also want to hear about the Undead Hunter.
LJ, don't fall asleep. The Undead Hunter, custom created by me as well. It's actually in one of the Earth Journal magazines. Undead Hunter is a subclass of Paladin. It's its own class, and it is a very cool class as well. I love to say, because, I always say that kind of stuff. Let me find Undead Hunter. Why didn't that come up? Undead Hunter. Double click. All right, here's the Undead Hunter. Think of Van Helsing.
Mm-hmm.
Undead Hunter. Look at the alignments. You don't have to be just a lawful goody-goody as an Undead Hunter. Undead Hunters are a specialized paladin That's their goal. Now they thanks Jeff for doing that. They have specialization weapon wise, so they get bonuses. You know, with they can do it. They have 2 of them. Their required weapons crossbow. So they use crossbows a lot, especially crossbows with stakes. If they have a specialization in a weapon, say longsword, when they fight undead, they get multiple attacks. So so regular fighter paladin at 7th level is 3 every 2. When they fight undead, they're 2 every 1. So right, so they get plus they get a lot of innate abilities here. Invisibility undead at first, sun scorch at second, hold undead, free action, sunrise or searing light. These are powerful. Soul searing orbit 8. They're powerful spells. They are a neat. Now here's the thing: they're very good at holding their own against non-undead. They're not as good at holding their own against non-undead that a paladin would be, right? Because paladin is innate protection from evil. They are innate protection from undead. So they get the abilities -2. Yes, so they're always seeking out undead because undead are abominations to slaughter them. Right. They also get keen ability with their crossbows against undead. So if they have a crossbow, it crits on a 19 or 20. Look at that, almost on our second hype train of the day. Thank you. So I love the class. Samantha Crakesbone is one. If you were at GaryCon, I had an undead hunter in that adventure. In the first one, to delve into the Lord's tomb, we had Samantha Crakesbone, probably the most needed character in that adventure. So thanks, Lee. So there you go. That's a really cool class too. And like I said, it will fit into Mike's group very well. And like I said, you don't have to be just lawful good. You can be of good alignment or lawful neutral. Yep.
I think does the Saxon have alignment requirements?
Any.
Okay.
Just like a
That's what I
cavalier.
thought.
Yeah,
I just wanted to be sure.
Yep. Because you're coming from you're coming from a normal a background just like a fighter, so you have a varied alignments. Remember, I don't allow evil, but yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm on the fence. I like both the undead hunter and the Saxon a lot.
You can always think on it. Yeah. I like
them both.
Yeah, see how tough it is? This is what happens with 40-some classes.
Well, what if I just make both?
It's a possibility. LJ, stop doing that.
She's just sitting here waiting for you to see.
Oh my gosh. Yes. So think on it. You got time? Think on it. Yes. Isn't that fun? So what other just general questions? Let's throw out some general questions to me. Audience too, if you want to make them. What would you like to know about the campaign, or what I'm going to put you through, or
It's gonna kill off our characters straight.
no, only yours. Just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
2 campaigns now. What have I done?
I would never do that.
Becomes a murder mystery. We all like spawn in, and like LJ's character is just dead.
Yes,
on the
So the ever mysterious
LJ's
Tim's father, John, had a shirt he would wear, and this is like the late 70s, early 80s. When he go to DM, it said, "You're dead. What do you do next?"
You're dead. What do you do
Take
next?
a nap.
Take a nap? A dirt nap? I mean,
Yeah.
6 feet under
I
now.
mean, I could go for one.
Justinius, I'm sorry. This has to stay here. Okay? I know you've seen it on screen, but this is my proprietary existence here. I'd be more than happy to share some of the classes with you, but that my cross-reference chart that stays with me. Sorry about that. You understand. I give out my critical hit charts and stuff, but this because of where my campaign is. I would be more than happy to help you, discuss things. But the one thing I don't give that out. So, yeah.
So
Walk it off.
in terms of questions about the camp, you said like, did we have questions about what
about
just going to be put
general,
us through?
we're gonna start you in the free city of Altamira, right?
Okay.
And
I was essentially going to ask, like, what can you tell us?
Well, we're going to start in the Free City of Altamira, always in our favorite watering hole, the Salty Dog, where I start most of my adventuring groups at. A little lesser of a, smells like piss and beer in there, so it's a perfect place for everyone.
Look, you'll fit in.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
If I go with my spelling, if anything, I'll make it worse. It'll just be like, oh, it's especially pungent today. I wonder why. And you just see a dude walking through with like spiders crawling up his arms and like bird egg leaking down his head.
So that's a great question, Teferi. I don't go to weather effects that much because of a multitude of things. It's something. Oh gosh, LJ, you're building. Oh my.
You're killing them, Smalls.
You're killing
You're
me
killing 'em,
with
Smalls.
kindness. So, as far as weather effects, I stay away from as it's specific to the adventure. It's something my guys aren't that interested in, so I don't relay it out. Does that make sense? But in an adventure, we may be in an area in a swamp or something, then it's a different story. So, no problem. All right. Once again, Korg, hit me up here. I'm going to start you in there. Something's going to happen. There'll be an adventure that comes out. Note the following, too. Every adventuring group in my campaign eventually has a name. So you're going to have to think of a name at some point. Now, you may want to wait till the adventure, see how it goes. You don't have to start. Because there is a mercenary guild hall, there's a mercenary board, or you got to register on the guild hall site. This is in Greyhawk, this is in Harby, and this is in Altamira, which you'll be. In order to get missions in the future, you'll need to be a member of the Altamira Adventurers Guild. Let me show you the level of craziness that I do. We'll just go up on this one. Oh, of course, came up on the wrong thing. Give me 1 second. Here we go. All right.
I love how Chaotic Good Gaming says, "What's the fastest you've ever killed a new player's character?" And I just
a new player's character. I've never only if it's Casey Brown or Draco. I've killed him all.
No,
pretty
he's gonna ask you to kill mine off the bat.
Why would I do that?
Because my dad is a menace, and he would do it. Just because I'm his kid.
LJ, I noticed that when he came in when I was running with Ed Greenwood, he was trying to get me to kill them all.
He basically just likes to spur on the DM. I don't think he's ever insta killed one of my characters though. So he talks a big game, but I'm waiting for him to kill a couple of my characters.
You're fueling the fire right now.
It's intentional. No, it's intentional. I know what I'm doing.
Well, I thought that this was updated.
You do root for the monsters. I know, Dad.
I thought this was updated a little bit more, as you can see. So let me just go over this real quick. This is rated in order of positive notoriety of all the adventuring groups. Most of these are PC groups. Ulek Defenders Against Slavery, number 1. The Night Stalkers, number 2. These are all PC. Huntsmen. There are a lot of bounty hunters. These are all. So far, all 3 of these are my group of guys, right? Remember, Alan has like 65 to 70 player characters that he plays. Just put that in perspective. That's why your head will explode. The Omega Patrol, one of the worst named groups in existence. They actually the Reborn. We just ran the Reborn a couple weeks ago, right? Theo's Heroes. I know that's run by the leader. That's a Jester. Yeah, they're all PCs. Now this is an NPC group, the Fighters of the Light in Altamira. That's a group of Fultus worshippers. They franchised. They have an adventuring group and also in Greyhawk City, and that's where I took that from. The Windborn PC, 2 drink minimum. Ed Greenwood's group. Okay. The Altamira Enforcers, kind of the joke antithesis group I put up against 2 drink minimum, and a Slav Squad that is we all know who the Slav Squad is. If you haven't watched, you're missing out. What are you doing?
I think LJ is.
You were 21. You done? Yes, you are.
I think LJ's trying to bribe you to not kill her character.
I won't kill her character within the first 10 minutes. I promise.
In the first 10 minutes.
Yes. So
each sub is worth 1 minute of a live time.
Exactly. No. I'm not the bribing type. So note that
I want to be DM's pet.
Yeah, I think you're there. So all right. That's the thing in Altamira. We have a bunch of adventuring groups, and yeah, so you want to get on the board as far as a rated group, so you get better missions, or you get better, you don't get the crap missions like, well, all these other groups aren't available or too high priced. We're coming to you, or maybe you want to be there. That's fine. So yes,
First name that came to my mind was the Stinky Stewards.
Oh,
and I don't think that's gonna work.
Well, we have DFCC now, which I forget what that stands for from Rob, and that was the group that with Phil Mafani in it. Now they just named themselves finally. Something comeliness check, right? Or it's just all they care about is the comeliness of the creature, the people they're fighting. It's really it's really disturbing. So wow, level 5 hype train almost. It's catchy.
Let's go.
Yep. Dual fisting. That's it. Dual fisting comeliness checkers. That's it. Oh my gosh, I can't even remember. Yes, because the dual fisting's a double entendre, of course, and most of them are fighting 2 weapons, and they always ask the comeliness. Comeliness is a stat you probably don't know about, by the way. Comeliness is a stat that came out in 1st edition in Arcana, and that is physical attractiveness. It's separate from charisma. I keep it on there for. You're not even going to see me holding this book here, so let me switch. Because thank you, LJ. It's very kind. Yeah, the Arcana book, as you can see, it's always all of them are falling apart. The binder's never held on these. Yes, so. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. I will throw that comeliness in there, and everyone will be like, it adds some kind of sexual tension to the group. Still, well, it depends on who's playing, right? With Bones and Darling groups and all the other and Heather Hex and all Little Bird, and, right, Mike? If you're still on. So, what other questions do you have?
LJ, Callum, do you guys have any?
No, I don't think so.
Callum, your guy. So, for example, you will be, as you come into Altamira, for example, you'll be a new aspiring bounty hunter, and you'll want to get in contact with the guild, because that's how you're gonna make your money. That's how you're gonna go places, because you're gonna want to be able to. Wow, here's a mission. Recover this evil bandit. This bandit, has been murdering people along the one road. There's a price on his head, and they want him back alive, right? They want him back for trial, and that's part of the things. But you're an adventurer, so you're gonna be doing other missions as well, and that's the great thing about tying it all together in a setting. You're not gonna just be doing the missions for the sake of doing them. I will tie something into what's going on in the campaign. And that's where the fun comes. Plus, you may run across, you may be sitting there in the Salty Dog, and you may overhear a conversation of Ed Greenwood's character, Ravalantar, talking to his people there at the bar at the same time. That kind of stuff will happen too, right?
Yeah.
I tie in other groups, crossovers. Or the Altamira Enforcers may come over and give you shit. Because that's what they do. So, it's an example. Yep.
I have 2 questions if nobody else.
Duff! Please ask.
To throw them. So this is more of a technical question regarding things, especially like combat, but also because from what I can tell, there are a bunch of, new and different mechanics that, some of us might not be familiar with. In terms of like our first session, how I don't want to phrase this actually. How are you going to mitigate potential issues that we will run into about like kind of awkwardly going through those mechanics for the first time? Because I feel like our very first round of combat is more than likely going to be the most difficult one to get through, at least in terms of understanding how everything works.
Tempest can answer this. Tempest, you've watched a lot of the special games.
Honestly, it's a lot of you lean on Jay, and Jay will be like, okay, roll this. Or he makes it really easy to actually adjust, and that was one thing. I was talking to my dad, and I was like, I'm really nervous. I've never played in anything that's 1E. I've never played, in anything lower than 5E other than Starfinder. And so I was like, I'm super nervous. And he goes, just roll what he asks you to roll.
That's it.
Like there's a lot of communication, and he'll explain. I mean, Jay usually is like, oh, rolled this because this. Like, it's usually he gives a reasoning behind it. So you're not just rolling to roll. It's you understand what you're doing too at the same time.
So
Okay, cool.
some things on the character sheet. Let me see if I can do this. Character sheet. We'll bring this up. Character sheet for print, if I can find it, and of course I may have to bring it up in Word. I literally have 43 years of crap on that I've transposed over. All right, let me bring this over here. See if this works. So, if you haven't seen one of my sheets, this is blank. All right. Right here in this spot here, you're going to have weapons. You're going to have your weapon abilities on that sheet. Let me pull a sheet and show you what I'm talking about here. Let me get one of the existing characters. We will get Scarn, Mike Disney's. Here. And I was like, they have their own sheets, and I send them to them each time with a new thing updated and all, but I keep a master. So here's Scarn, Mike Disney's character. Here's his right there. See that? Warhammer, light crossbow, toughness, spell extension, or his abilities, right? Weapon, proficiency / feats. Right there, +4 to hit, +4 damage on the Warhammer, it's die 20, and the damage against small, medium, and then large. Then he has his light crossbow. Down here are the missile modifiers for the light crossbow. And the ranges. 1 inch is 10 feet on the table. Unless we're underground, then it's 1 square in Dwarven Forge is 5 feet. Okay? Yep. Simple stuff. An important stat on this sheet that a lot of people you may not know is movement rates. There's movement rate right there, 9 inches. Normally 9. It's either going to be 6, 12, or 9 for most characters, based on armor you're wearing. Okay.
Yep.
Movement rates are very important, especially in outdoor adventuring. The number one rule that's different from 5e. Number one is the way combat works, and that you cannot do the following. 5e, I don't know how, and it just doesn't make sense to me tactically. You got a room with 5 good guys, 5 bad guys. How you can move to someone, attack them, and move away drives me insane, right? Because it's just not realistic. And then everyone's like all over the place. Movement outside of 10 feet is your action in old school. Okay? If that makes sense. They're all the way over here, 120 feet away, and you are a fighter with stud leather armor and magical stud leather. You can move 12 inches. You have to run that's your action for the round. You're not attacking. Now they can't melee you back because it's simultaneous technically. In melee, if you can't attack them, they can't attack you. There's some rare exceptions. Boots of striding and springing, Tensor's boots of the running warrior. Very rare exceptions to that, so you don't need to worry about it. I will walk you all through how combat works. Combat does not. You don't need to worry. We do group initiative. I will call out who goes based on positioning. Makes it easy, but from either furthest back or to furthest close to the combat that's going on. Just depends on the situation. I'll take care of all that for you. Easy enough. All you need to roll is a die 20. And remember, you'll be getting special hero points, regular hero points from the audience if you haven't watched, which you can add in and get critical hits and stuff. And the audience tends to be very kind to the players because they want to see you succeed.
My dad gives special points to the DM.
Yes, which is awesome. I had XO Ibby the week from Saturday gave me 40 something like
it was something ridiculous. It was I think it was like 20 or something like that.
Yeah, 20. No, it was a cheering of 20,000. That's 40. Yeah, because I had used some. It's 40 special here.
Yeah.
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 That was fun. Just note,
Darling was so mad.
She was, yes, and even Heather
Darling
was.
was so mad.
It was one of Heather's. It was one of Heather's viewers, yes, who gave me all those anti-hero points. So it's great. There's a hero point system. You get regular hero points. You use them before a die roll's made. You want to hit. You want to save. And then there's specials that you can use after a die roll's made. You roll 19 natural, you can make it a natural 20. You fumble, roll a 1, you can make it a 2 and undo the fumble. There's all sorts of things. It'll flow real easily in the course of gameplay. I won't let you hanging. I won't leave you. I won't do a gotcha moment until you played a couple adventures.
Yeah. Okay. Appreciate that.
Yes.
Also, LJ, the strategy, save up all of your sub money for our first session so that you can get that to the audience to give us more points. I'm gonna make this
It will
pay
be
to
done.
win, okay?
It will be done. Pay to
will be
win.
done.
Let's go.
That's the plan.
Pay to win.
I mean, he's gonna kill off my character in the first 10 minutes anyway.
No,
Might as well,
not.
beat him
No,
up,
no,
you
he
know?
said he won't kill it off in the first
Not
10.
in the first 10.
Not in the first 10.
Yeah.
And
So
just know,
every sub I give is an extra like minute, right?
you're fine. You've
It
earned
gets
your.
to like
Yes.
it gets to 10 minute 1 second and suddenly like evil music starts playing, like fog starts filtering in the room.
Yeah, that's a couple things. By the way, I'm not allowed to use Sirenscape. My guys told me we don't want to see that because you're distracted enough. So like no, yeah. So I don't do musical in the background, stuff like that. And there's enough interaction going on with all the cheers and all the notice. Oh, by the way, if you want to know, all those pics are the gifs are from Legend of the Seeker, and a TV show that was on the early 2000s. There's nothing better than women in playing in D&D combat and stuff. So yeah. What else?
Second question that I
Please.
had. If a person has a comeliness stat that is negative, does that act as an automatic fear spell on anyone who sees them?
What it
Okay.
states in the book, if you have a negative comeliness, that's really bad. I've never seen a player character ever have a negative comeliness. Ever.
Okay.
A negative comeliness gives an individual, anyone, normal person. I'll read it. Let me read this here.
Okay.
If I can find it in here. So, negative. Aversion and a desire to be away from so ugly a creature will be evidenced by all viewers. If given an excuse, those near the individual will be hostile and openly aggressive. Otherwise, it will merely tend toward rejection. So, a negative comeliness like that is a normal person. It's like the Elephant Man walking down the street.
Oh no.
I'm just giving you an idea. Well, yeah. If you want to be a non-attractive person, like charisma and comeliness are two separate things,
Yeah.
right? I'll give we all can think of people in history that have very low comeliness but have super high charisma. We won't go there with names of people. We all can figure that out of people in the last 100, 200 years who've had that.
What is he? Cyrano de Bergerac?
Well, that'd be
Anybody know
another
who
one
that
too.
is?
But like Napoleon.
Napoleon
would be one. I'm gonna stay away from the German one too. But yeah, comeliness.
His charisma game wasn't that good.
Well,
apparently he got rejected a lot of times.
That's because his comeliness was bad. But charisma, as far as getting a crowd together and getting people to do things for them, is so. A lot of those individuals like that, and so it's just a stat that gets utilized out there. In our game, it works well just because of the way the interaction goes. That's all. So yeah, absolutely.
I would love to see a party completely comprised of individuals who have negative comeliness. Just see what happens.
I feel like you'd have to do a villain
Well,
villain campaign at that point.
You're not getting into Altamira. They're like, no. Because all right, so we all know, I'm going to show my childish behavior. Remember, I was a college kid once. I was a high school dumbass once, too. Our bugbear, bounty hunter, and his best friend, Goblin, he's a fighter. They're both members of Bounty Hunters Guild. They're named Poo Poo and Kaka. Okay? All right? Yes. All right. Yes. They don't have negative comelinnesses. And they are widely accepted in Altamira because they're the best two trackers in the entire guild, right? So there are, yes, so there you go. They're Anna's two favorite characters I've ever created, too, which says something. But yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
Honestly,
Hey,
that
Mac.
doesn't surprise me. I find that very funny.
yes. But they don't have
Anna,
Megalo
of course,
gummies.
of course, Anna likes them.
Yes. Exactly, because when you all know, you guys are like, think about this: 20s, 21 to 24, all of you, age-wise,
Yeah.
right in there. Okay, so we're talking about 35 years ago. This is so we're in like year 8 of my campaign. I'm doing this kind of stuff. Think about that, right? Showing my age now. 35 years ago, we're creating these kind of characters. When I'm in college or high school or whatever, yeah. So
Just goes to
childish
show
brain.
that the times may change, but poop jokes are forever.
Exactly. And if you watch Thursday night, they found a cavalier of Mastrine hidden in a pile of horse manure.
Yeah,
They thought the bandits had thought they had killed him. Now, Lord Mastrine is a really evil lord in Narwhal area in the Wild Coast, and he has a whole bunch of cavaliers. But now they're kind of allied with this guy who they've saved because they've gone to this site, which was a neutral site. That everyone's welcome at the last stop on the road. That was the Adventure Thursday night, and now this guy wants to kill everyone inside, just like they do. Strange bedfellows sometimes. That's part of the thing. But of course, we had crap in it too. And if you notice, Bill has made big piles of crap as terrain pieces too. So also bodies and blood stain and splat marks. We have all and people turn to slime and all sorts of different neat terrain items.
We need to make like a poop golem.
Yes, well, there's a lot of fun things you can do. So we have a Sylvan Elf Avenger. I'm going to work up. We have a human bounty hunter. I'm going to work up, and we have technically a half orc, dual class fighter monk. And then when we get Tempests, we will decide on the Saxon or the Undead Hunter. But I will, one of the two. Both are good. Or was it the Shield Thane you were thinking of? Or you thinking
No,
of,
it was the Saxon and the Undead Hunter.
Okay,
I
cool.
think conceptually, I'm gonna go ahead and kind of get an idea for both.
Okay. Sounds good.
I've been sitting here sketching. So,
awesome. By the way,
but
we use custom. I use Portrait Workshop. They're a sponsor of mine for all the portraits I make. But we have artwork that was done. If you saw last Saturday, Myriad does, like if custom artwork is welcome for the characters, and then I'll put that on the character sheet and all. That's not a problem too.
Yeah. So
Yep.
yeah, but I'm gonna put up some concept sketches of both of them.
Awesome.
Because honestly, I might just build both of them or have both of them built and then just pick whichever one, depending on the campaign sort of deal, if that works.
By the way, thank you everyone. We have 63 people watching us just chat here about Session 0 campaign development. That's really kind of you. Thank you all.
Woo!
So all right, Callum, ask me something. You've been quiet. Ask me
Right
something.
now.
Right now.
If you don't, your character dies within 10 minutes.
No.
And then you have to give him sub points to then actually
Okay.
get that extended.
Yo, can I have a Grogu?
Can you have a
Is
Grogu?
Grogu there?
No.
Aw.
No,
That's
no
fine.
pets. No pets. If you had a ranger, maybe down the road to get something, or but you want to have It's called the pack bearer rule, and this goes back to Tim again. All right, everything goes back to Tim because
Everything.
Damn it,
Tim
Tim.
Damn it,
tortured
Tim.
me.
God damn it, Tim.
Tim would always bring torchbearers, pack bearers, all this stuff. Guys with red shirts in Star Trek, right? With him and his adventures. That he's playing my characters. No matter where he would try and hide them or store them, someone would sneak up, fireball them, kill them all because I got tired of them. So I would always kill them. The last adventure he did, he has a character named Hugo Stiglitz. Okay, Tim, everyone knows who Hugo Stiglitz is from Inglourious Bastards. That's really not the character's name. He's in hiding. He's a musician. He brings during the fight his band onto the beach during a big fight in Harby with a group of Union thugs. Brings them onto the beach because he knows what I'm going to do. He takes them out and he charges into the fight, leaves the band there. I fireballed and killed his band because I just like enough, Tim. So boom. I always little side things. You don't want to bring them because I'm just gonna get rid of them.
Jay, would you like to hear a very quick 5e story
Sure.
that just kind of goes to show how ridiculous combat can get when
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
have like companions? So I ended up making a changeling artificer,
Okay.
and they were specifically the steel defender subclass. And with that subclass, you get essentially a robotic companion. My character, so I got a robotic companion. Then I was also able to get a magic item, which was it's some kind of homunculus. I think it's called a living homunculus.
Okay.
Essentially generates a robotic form. Then I also was able to get a living plant. And in my backstory, he had a pet mouse. My character's name was Rook. His steel defender's name was Knight. The homunculus was named
Pawn.
Bishop.
Oh.
The no, there actually was a pawn. The living plant was named Queen. The mouse was named King. My character could also summon an invisible why am I blanking on the name? The magic hand. That
Mage hand.
Mage hand. Yes, there we go. Mage hand. He could summon an invisible mage hand. That was his pawn. And my DM absolutely hated me because I would often bring multiples of these into combat and they would just clog up
Exactly.
any room that they were in and make it extremely difficult for any enemy to move around or do anything.
That sounds about right.
So you know what happened? So he started doing room clearing things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You understand. The experience I try to get is one of enjoyment and challenge. Okay. Also, I've been through it. It's 43 years. My guys have attempted it. Whatever you attempt, like that's nuts, they've done it for the most part. With some exceptions. For example, Little Bones took a bandit character who was on a tower 40 feet high, one adventure, about last year, jumped off of it, trying to land on someone who was fighting Myriad's character from the front, trying to parkour on top of it. I said, you know what? Go for it. You're going to take a ton of damage. You want to jump off a 40 high tower? Go for it. You need to roll an 18 or better on a die 20, and she rolled a 20. All right, so yeah, so I've seen every single nutty thing. Bringing pack bearers, I'm gonna bring 6 mules with me this adventure. Hey, fine, man. There's gonna be a pack of freaking hyenas running around somewhere out there, right? I've seen it all. So just note that I want everyone to enjoy this adventure and just go with the flow.
We had in one of my campaigns where I'm playing a barbarian
story,
with
though.
the glaive. I have gotten really, really lucky with her rolls for the most part. She's I think 6th level right now and has 98 hit points.
Yeah.
So, but she's wild. She has 2 20s in 2 of her stats at 6th level.
Yeah.
And we went, and in the course of the story, we ended up getting to a point where we were gonna face the fiend, a Rakshasa.
My favorite monster of all time.
High CR, right? So we were 5th level characters at this point.
That's
tough. So
the party was panicking, right? And we were all like, okay, we're gonna go get help, basically. So we were all able to play a second character of whatever level. Just that we have one. That's how hard it was. And then we also picked up a couple NPCs. And so because we rolled well, I managed to persuade a couple NPCs really well. And so but we did so well. And I was top of the combat order, and I couldn't reach the Rakshasa in one turn. I crit with the javelin. I hit with the second javelin. I think I did a total of like 30 to 40 damage in that one turn. We almost one-turned this Rakshasa.
See, once again, first edition, that ain't happening. Do you know why?
No.
Do you know for Rakshasa? Do you know why? Number one, weapons, especially for Rakshasa lords, weapons that are under +4, +4 at best do half damage. You have to have a +2 or +3 weapon to even damage them. Rakshasas are immune to all spells under 9th level in first edition.
That
You
sounds
can't
about right.
cast you can't cast fireball. Nothing works on them. So I love Rakshasas. Rakshasas are that nasty. But once again, it's
Oh,
an
they're so
addition thing.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we
Rakshasas are
were-
great monsters.
And to be fair, the
Hey.
DM definitely modified it because we were 5th level, but
You
it
gotta
was
make it a yeah.
important story wise. But he summoned 4 flesh hounds and
So he
I
had
think-
minions helping him.
oh, he had lots
Yeah,
of
and that-
minions. The other ones were Cambrians, I think. So another different kind of devil that he summoned. And we almost lost a couple party members. One of them almost insta died,
And that's part
and
of
one of them got charmed.
it's part of
so.
the DM. The DM needs to create game balance, right?
Oh, and he did.
Yeah.
The DM did such a great job with it because yes, we were angry. So it was one of those things that we were mad at this Rakshasa for what had happened in the story, and so we were coming with a vengeance, and it worked out really well for us in that moment. But then the DM was like, "Well, shit, I'm not gonna let you one shot. I'm not gonna let you one round my Rakshasa. That's not how this is gonna work." And he did such a good job on the fly reacting to that.
Almost did though, right? And that's the thing. So no matter how much you plan as a DM, and probably Lily's had this happen too. You guys are pretty ingenious, and players can be very ingenious in their techniques and ways to get around stuff that you're not thinking about, right?
Mhm.
There's ways,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yep.
So, all right, winding down here. So, what would you like to say in closing or ask? I will write up the character sheets. I need from you name and just a little bit of general idea on background, which I know it sounds like Cork, you got yours worked out pretty well for your character. So you don't have to tell me specifics on location. I'll work that in. Like for example, Callum, like your bounty hunter. Just tell me if you want to come from a poor background or you're an ex-noble person who's like fed up and wants to become a bounty. Wants to become a bounty hunter, or are you fleeing? You want to come to Altamira for I just want to get away from where I live. Whatever. I just need some generals on that. I will get all the stats done up. And the character itself, gear, stuff at the level that you're going to be at. I will also make a portrait up for your character through Portrait Workshop because it's a great program. Like I said, and I give away that program once a month, usually on streams because they sponsor the channel. It's called Portrait Works. You can check them out. It's just a wonderful, wonderful thing. Yep. Thanks. Money balance is mortals really should not be fighting. Chris, I agree. They're my favorites of all time. I've said that. The Scott Benny article on Rakshasas out of the Dragon magazine is one of the best articles, period. And I regret not having Scott on the show or getting to him. I tried before he passed because he died suddenly. What a genius that guy was. He's also the creator of the Death Knight, the specific Death Knight for Greyhawk, right? Kargath. Is in an article on Saints, and that was Scott Benny as well. I really miss not getting to him. So that's why we talk to everyone we can on interviews. LJ, you've been quiet for a long time.
I've just been taking it in really. Like
Told you.
I don't really have any. I don't really have any questions, so to say. But like, I think when we actually like get into the game, I will know it more if that makes sense. Like, my brain's got blank, honestly.
We can stop right in the middle of the comments, and like I don't understand. That's fine, especially the first time. Don't worry about that. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I will work with you guys to make sure you're comfortable with what's going on. I'm not gonna throw against. You know what this is? DM's crushing fist. I won't DM's crushing fist you. I promise.
I'm just waiting for my character to die. It's fine. I've got 2 DMs after me at the moment. You know what? It's fine.
First edition, though, it's not. There's raised dead spells. There's all. It's not like you get your arm cut off, you can get it regenerated. I mean, just yeah. You get an eye removed.
Fine, you'll be fine.
There's a dream spell. You can get a dream spell done by illusionists. Illusionists can bring back fingers, eyes, noses that get cut off. Because there's critical hits, as you see down here. There's some really funny ones. Nose removal is one of my favorites of all time.
Like, I think I've just like, because we've obviously been talking about like backstories and stuff. I'm like just thinking of like different how I could do this and work a way around this without saying too much related to another company that streams, like comparing it to that, if that makes sense.
Well, number one, the miniatures and terrain changes the concept of how combat works, even over VTT. Okay, because everything is in inches, so it's not hex base or any or little square base. It is all based on you'll see ranges and stuff. Missile weapons. If you have a missile weapon, especially if for example you're playing Undead Hunter with that crossbow, you don't want to be at 180 feet. You want to be at like 70, between 70 and for ranges, for for medium range, short range, things like that. Fireballs. This is not 5th edition. There's no sculpting of spells. There's no sculpting of spells. If a fireball goes off in an area where someone's fighting, say we're fighting an ogre, and 2 of your people are fighting that ogre, they're getting hit by that fireball. Okay, yeah. This is not. Oh, the number one you've probably seen on stream. Shooting into melee combat is a bad thing. It's easy, it is. Okay. The house rule is the following. Say you have who would be. Bounty Hunter's not going to have it. The fighter, you're going to probably have a missile weapon, but you're probably not going to be able to use it. So say you had a crossbow. Say Undead Hunter had a heavy crossbow. Mm-hmm. Someone's fighting a vampire. You shoot it, and your main fighter, Mike Disney's character in Rax, is fighting this vampire, and you miss. Combat's not static. Here's what's going on in the melee. You're standing back here. You shoot. If you miss. Into melee combat, you need to re-roll that to hit your friend's rear armor class because you hit them instead. This is not a little bit of realism there. Bows and stuff, yeah. So the number one thing that the attack move, and the spell sculpting ability does not exist in 1E2E. Okay. You shoot a lightning bolt at someone, and you start it out. You can start a lightning bolt out at 8 feet, and you fork it. And you go after 3 bad guys, and 2 of your people are fighting those 3 bad guys. Say they're lined up like this, 3-2. You're hitting. There's no way you're not hitting them if you shoot at them. Now, if they're moving forward, range spells as stuff comes in, right? It's just a tactic change. That's all. And I'm saying you may not even have to worry about that much, but I'm explaining that the number one difference between 5e and 1e is the tactical difference of how combat works. All right.
I'm thinking that probably a best practice for us, like when we come on, LJ, Callum, and Lily, when we come on, if we get into combat, I think a best practice would be letting Jay know what we're thinking of doing ahead of time, like before the turn. Like if we have the thought to do something kind of like complicated, but it's not going to, but we're not planning on doing it for like 2 to 3 turns from now because we think like, oh, we have to set up, we have to move here, get this ready, so on and so forth. I think that it would be a good idea to go, hey, Jay, I'm thinking of doing this in like 2 to 3 turns. Would I be able to do that with this setup?
And my answer to you will be, man, that may be a good tactic, or, well, it's going to expose you. I will help you through this, okay? Also, because of your group setup now, we gotta know what Lily's playing before you decide tactically, because you have no hardcore tank at the present. Your fighter monk may eventually be that, but you can't use your fighter skills yet, right? Because you got to surpass with the experience. So you're gonna have a bounty hunter sneaking around. You're gonna have an avenger, and she's gonna be 1 level off of shape change ability. Right.
So she can't tank yet.
Right, but she can only turn into a spider, if I recall, for 5th.
Yeah,
that'd be good if the person has arachnophobia.
Yeah, the best because when you turn at 6th level, you can turn into a baby wyvern. That tail is +3 poison savers death on a sting. Yeah, when you get to that point at 6. So yeah, oh
god, I just thought,
they're so cool.
Yeah, spider. Thank you.
If I ended up going with that druidic spellcaster sort of thing, if LJ's character ended up turning into a giant spider at some point eventually, they're immediately going to go, wow, that's so cool. Also, can I have some of your silk? Can you make silk?
Yeah.
Just get real personal.
just gonna be so enraptured. Just gonna ask all the uncomfortable questions.
But
I am out.
and once again, that'll depend. As you as a druid mage, you won't be able to shape change if you do the druid mage till 7th. Druids get the ability at 7th, and it'll be naturally occurring. The biggest thing you can normally do is a grizzly bear. Grizzly bear, dog, hawk, and then reptile, snake. You know,
I can't wait to be an owlbear. I honestly cannot wait to be an owlbear.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Jeff makes a good point. No death saves a 1E. That's definitely a big difference from 5E.
Here's what happens. When you get to 0 hit points, you're unconscious. If you get to -1, you go down 1 hit point per level every round until -10, and then you're dead. A player character
That's cool.
can
That is cool.
not out of combat can do what's a binding wounds ability, stabilize you basically. You stop -5, -6, whatever it is. You cannot function again until you are healed up with a death's door spell, and you don't have a cleric. So you don't want to go to, you don't have anyone who's going to be able to cast that. Plus, you're too low level anyway. Don't worry about it. That's part of the game. It's part. Don't worry. But like I said,
I find it really cool.
You do
It's
not
one of
die.
those-
Yeah. If you get hit by
You
the
don't
fireball,
die instantly.
if you get hit by a fireball and fail your save and you put your -5, you're down unconscious, but you're not dead for 5 more rounds, unless someone else comes over and blasts you with another spell to be mean or something.
Yeah.
So, just know.
Die!
There will always be that one enemy that's gonna be a jerk, and
Right.
it's just gonna.
Yeah, but just know.
So
Monsters,
quick
the
question.
bad guys are intelligent too, so they're going to try and take out things that are up. Yeah. So go ahead.
Quick
Please.
question: what classes are good for tanking? If
Well,
that
Shield Thane
seems-
is the best one of all. That's the dwarf that Tempest decided. Fighter is good. Ranger's good. Paladin's good. Inquisitor's a subclass of Paladin that's really good. That Undead Hunter's good. Those kind, the fighter classes. Cavalier.
How does barbarian work in 1E?
Barbarian works so that they get die 12. They can't wear armor except leather. They get double dex. They are like fighters that are on cocaine running around, right? For the most part. There is no real enrage ability in 1E, 2E, but they have die 12 for hit die, not die 10.
Yeah.
So they got a lot of hit points. So they are the Saxon is if you want to do raw damage, Saxon's way better. Saxon can wear armor, hardcore, but Barbarian's a decent character too. It's just that a Barbarian in the campaign setting where we're at fits in less well than a Saxon does. But I would not say no to a Barbarian.
I'm not. I have way too many barbarian characters already. I do not need to make another one.
Yeah.
And the Saxon is so interesting to me.
Yep.
I was just curious because usually that's what, if I'm looking for a tank, I go barbarian.
Okay.
And because
well, that's interesting to note because most and a Barbarian could tank, but a Barbarian, and the word tank is how often, like if there's 12 enemies, how are you tanking? We have taunt and mass taunts. Yeah, we have an ability called taunt, which I stole right from World of Warcraft, where you can like insult an enemy as long as they can understand the gist of what you're saying. You can't taunt a golem, but you can taunt even a goblin or a giant. And we have mass taunt, which is a prerequisites taunt where they can do 3 at one time, all of them melee combat 10 feet. But still, if there's a dozen, how do you tanking is a term. It's still like a video game term. Right?
Yeah.
You want to mean a highly armored defensive fighter type, right? That's what we're talking about. Combat, melee combat type.
Yeah.
There's all different variants of that. In fact, your Avenger may be able to tank down the road too with the abilities and stuff. Yeah.
The dragon.
Yes. Yeah, so if
dragon.
If LJ is still playing, gets that to 13th level, I'll probably be 70 years. I'll be 70 years old.
Bet. I'm willing to do this.
Yes.
Challenge
I'll be
accepted, she
Challenge
says.
accepted.
Yes. And everyone said this on Thursday night. On June 3rd, Saturday morning, June 3rd, I run my 1,000th adventure. All right, after 43 years, I ain't getting a 2,000. So no, there is no way. Even if I run 40 adventures a year, that's 25 years, right? It's not. It's not. Yeah, I'll be 81
Well-
when that happens. So yeah.
We'll get you there.
Oh
We'll
my
get you
gosh.
there.
We'll get you
We'll,
there,
we'll
come
have
on.
we'll have LJ pay off any medical funds with subs.
Yeah, I'll look like the Borg. I'll have tubes running out of me and everywhere. Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. Taunt's a great ability we added, and here's the proficiency list. So, one last thing. Let's go over this, and we'll call it a day here. Weapon proficiencies in first edition, where you take that weapon and you can use it, right? We kind of made a change where we made it so that I took third edition feats, melded it into the system of that we have of abilities. So I'll give you an example here. Here's all the ones we've added in. These are all special, like almost feat like. Well, let me flip it over here. So it's down there. But so for example, taunts on here. These are in lieu of taking a weapon. So if you notice on Mike Disney's sheet, he had Warhammer, which he was proficient in. That's not specialized. That's not extra pluses. So here's Mike Disney's Skarn, his priest. Warhammer, he's proficient in. Light crossbow. So he has 2 weapons he's proficient in. If he uses a battle axe, he has a non-proficiency penalty of -3. Toughness. Toughness is on this list. That's +1 hit point per level. Okay? Added on no matter what your con is. And that you can't lose that. And then spell extension adds, he can do cast spells for an added 50% duration to him. So that would be like prayer. You can make his prayer instead of 8 rounds, make it 12, right? Because he can add 50%. So on this list here are a bunch of proficiencies, and it depends on your class. What you some of them might. The Avenger is you're gonna have 2. You're gonna have Avenger's gonna have 3 weapon proficiencies. Your fighter monk will have a bunch that you can't even use because you won't be a fighter anymore. So you're gonna have 2 proficiencies for his monk. The bounty hunter will have 4. You should have 3 or 4. But one of them would be specialization. So you take a weapon proficiency, then you take the specialization plus to get the bonus to hit and damage. So yeah, just let you know that there's going to be some stuff you're going to see on your sheet and they go like, what the hell is defensive training, or and I'll explain it. And we can always make changes. If there's something I give you something you don't like, I'm going to try to give you something that's useful. And if you don't like it, we can make changes to it. All right? Just tonight. Yes, the depth of the game. I told you your heads are going to explode. I'm going to make them explode. So, lots of stuff.
And we could just regenerate them.
Your heads?
Yeah,
of course.
It's fine. Just walk it
It's
off.
fine. Just walk it off.
Rub some
Put
dirt,
some dirt on it. All right.
Yeah.
So, what would everyone like to say in closing? As we're about to at the 2 hours. I knew this was going to go 2 hours. I'm glad to see it.
I don't have much to say. I'm excited for whatever game I get to play in because I have wanted to play in Greyhawk for so long, and it is so important to my family
Awesome.
as a whole, and so the opportunity makes me really excited.
I'm glad to hear that. Thank you so very much for the kind words, Bill. Look what Bill put in chat. Don't trust him. He's evil. That's just wrong. That is just so wrong.
That's a good mod right there. That's a mod that knows their streamer.
I didn't know. That's Bill the Master Crafter, the person who makes all the terrain and plays. Right? That's yes. And I give all my friends mod capability. I don't know why, but I do.
Okay.
Yes, can
Got
never
to
have
use
enough
my
mods.
power.
Very rarely do we get trolled here, and I don't want to go in a diatribe about how male streamers have it so much better than female streamers, but we do. I mean, we really get harassed, right? Once in a blue moon, we'll get a crazy on here, someone who's just outside the community. The community's great. Very rarely do we have issues, but occasionally they come up once in a blue moon. So, yep.
I mean, to be fair, Jay, you run a D&D stream, so I'm assuming that you're going to get trolled every once in a while, and so is your party.
Yeah.
Grown.
Or giant two-headed trolled.
Yeah. Well,
Double trolled?
Double trouble.
I will try and trust me. I will try and bring out stuff or ideas or concepts that you're not going to see in 5e. Just know that's a little hint on the adventuring. Give them the fireproof disease trolls. Oh, the pox trolls, Escher. I can't do that to them first adventure. I can't do that. They don't have anyone who has fire spells right now, so it doesn't matter.
We open up on the session. Jay just says, "All right, you're all in a tavern. You see a fireproof disease troll in the corner. It's walking towards you. What do you do?
Yes, you're dead. What do you do
Run.
next?
You're dead. What do you do next?"
The pox
Walk it off.
trolls. So,
Regenerate my limbs.
from the nerdy guides, let's have everyone give it a little final thought here. We'll start with Callum, who's hidden.
Hello.
Hello.
What are my final thoughts?
Why are you looking at me for?
You're easy. You're
Why are
easy.
you asking?
Bounty hunters, you're easy. Just fine. To finish up the stream. A little fine. Yeah. What do you think?
Oh, no, I was asking Callum.
Oh,
Why
Callum.
is he asking us? Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I wasn't.
Oh,
asking
okay.
that.
Good.
I'm excited to, play the bounty hunter and stuff,
This is the way.
Yeah, this is the way. This is the way.
It is, and the bounty hunter is a focal point of the Free City of Altamira. So that's a great thing, and and it will be available in the world of Arid as we transport it in for Troller Games, and that'll make it. And I already have written the bounty hunter class up in their rule set in Castles and Crusades, so it'll be awesome. So I appreciate that. Note one weakness of you is you're on Rogue Dice 6, so you are not. If you get caught in a frontline fight with wearing leather armor, and that could be you're gonna have to use your abilities to hiding. You'll be able to set a trap. That set trap ability is not only using your magical set trap, but I assume you always have basic gear, tripwires, snares, sound makers. You'll be able to do all that as you're going, which is a cool thing. So set trap is their main ability of the bounty hunter, and the thieving abilities. Yep.
I'm also interested to see how we all meet each other,
Yes, I'm going to say that you kind of all know each other, but you be in the end, right? Because remember, we only have 4 hours. We're going to run a 4-hour stream. It may stretch to 5, but I try to, I don't want to sit you there for 8 hours, right? I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Also, I don't want to end the stream and say we'll finish next time, because we don't know when next time will be normally, right? On these, but don't worry. There'll be some cool flow to it, and I'll have some interaction with some NPCs for you too. We'll have some neat interaction of some sort.
Cool.
Yep. So
I'm very excited to fail at meditation. I feel like my characters, if we go with the fighter monk one, I feel like they're probably gonna try and be sort of like the group dad in a way. Because I think, at least from the sounds of it, they might be like the oldest, and they're gonna have that like I've seen some shit vibe. But at the same time, they're just like they're not very good at what they do. They'll be like, yes, it's important to take care of your mental health. Everybody's like, oh, cool. How do you do that? And he's like, I don't know.
Well, the good thing about that'll be a lot of entertainment value for the character too. You're going to be like head's going to be spinning as the character himself. Oh yeah. So trying to figure out your place and everything. Your benefit is going to be your hit points.
Yep.
So you'll be like Kevin Costner on that stupid horse and Dances with Wolves. You'll be like this, right, and just soaking up damage. You'll be a damage, So because your monk abilities are going to be very suspect. Yeah, because your fighter abilities are going to be useless until you surpass, which is cool. But then you're going to be a pretty interesting character when you become third level fighter and get up to a monk. You may be 3-2 when we start this. Third level fighter, second level monk, working your way up. It just depends on where the experience falls. Okay. All right. So, but you'll have some monk ability. Yep. So I appreciate you coming on. Thank you. And lastly, LJ. See, I only make that mistake once by accident.
I think I'm just excited to actually play 1E, have something different, be a part of like a legacy of like the longest D&D campaign. It's been actually a privilege to like obviously meet you, speak to you, or the team as well. Like, have a good privilege with that. Like, thank you for having us. Like, we're so humbled, and we're like trying to explain it to everyone when we go out and everything. They're like, really? And I'm like,
that's awesome. So
I'm excited for 1E, really.
It's gonna be a fun time, and it's not hard. It's different, and there'll be some things that may be a little like, why is it that way? Don't worry about it. It's going to just flow, You know, the combat goes a lot faster than in 5e. You know how sometimes that's the one thing, you know, you get 5e and you get combat and it goes on and on and on, right? But in this, I try and move that along as quickly as possible to make it so that it does not get tedious. No, what's dash? I don't even know what dash is there, Chris. I'm kidding. So I'm linking, for all of you who haven't watched it, I'm linking Lily's defense of Robert Wardaw to the world. There you go. I won't link the other one.
Uh-oh.
I won't link the other one. I linked that one. So there you go. That's Lily's Instagram post saying, telling Robert Wardell to go scratch, which I loved.
Bro, Jay, you did it again.
What's that?
It's LJ.
I
It's
did
LJ who
it!
did that post.
I did it. Why do I do that?
It's because there's 2 L names.
No.
I point
Take the
blank.
L.
Did it?
I listen. I get called Lauren.
did
Don't
it.
ask me how. It doesn't
I
sound
did
like
it.
Lindsay.
LJ, I did it.
Doesn't
I'm sorry.
sound like Lindsay,
Oh my
but
god.
I get called Lauren.
I mean, I
so-
have changed my hair. Like, I
You
have
did.
changed my hair.
So, I'm sorry. That's just me being old and
That
senile.
counts. I changed my hair.
Let's do the giveaways. All right, two Troller Game $10 gift certificates. Let's see who wins them, and there'll be digital downloads. All right, and then we're gonna raid into Chuck, who's still playing. And is someone over there dual watching? I want to make sure, but yeah, he should be playing at 1 o'clock, so he should be on still. All right, let me last call! Exclamation point. Zump your stuff. I got your minis out yesterday for your win on Thursday. It was your Reaper minis. I got them out for you, just so you're aware. If 2000 Caesars has been on a roll, everyone. He's won the last on Wednesday night and Thursday night. Let's see if he wins a third time. So, all good. All right, here we go. I'm going to close this out. Thank you all. Let's see. Tomorrow, all right, and then we'll go over a quick shout outs on what's going on. Got some great stuff coming up. Unbelievable content coming up.
Oh.
All right, what the heck's going on here? Hey, Mike, good to see you. Greyhawk Mike, everyone. Jimmy, are you busting my stones now, too? Are you, Jimmy? Winner, Tempest!
Oh,
You
hey.
got it. There's
Hey.
one. That's Gratz. Gratz there. Second winner,
Well done. Woo.
Vamp Wickman, Chad. There you
Woo,
go.
woo, woo, woo.
Gratz. I'll get the
GG,
codes to
guys,
both of
GGs.
you. Oh, thank you, Saint. All right, here's what's going on real quick in the world of the channel. I should have done that first, but then I'm not. Tomorrow night, Sunday night, we will go in and discuss Dungeon Magazine Adventures starting at 1:25, and that will be the second in the Age of Worms campaign setting, and that'll be a fun discussion. That will be. Let me flip this over here. Gavin 243. Tomorrow night, we may have another guest on. I invited one of the writers. They cannot make it because they still work for WotC, and they're not allowed to come out on channels, unfortunately. So that'll be tomorrow night. We'll go over a lot of Greyhawk-based adventures, especially Age of Worm adventures. That'll be tomorrow night. Next week, starting on Wednesday, we're going to have a Living Greyhawk episode. Living Greyhawk High Folk will be Wednesday. So we'll have triads from that region during the Living Greyhawk era. And then we will continue the adventure. Last Stop on the Road, that should say the 20th. And we'll finish that up. That's number 996. And then I have 2 Gabbins next week. One in this exact same time slot, which really works. The return of one of the true legends of D&D, one of the original founders, Rob Kuntz, returns. I mean, Rob Kuntz is one of the creators of D&D with Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson. He lives in Corsica now. He's going to talk about his adventures of Sir Robillard. Robillard is one of the most biggest names of characters in Greyhawk ever. Robillard was a troublemaker in the early days, Temple of the Mental Evil, Hamlet, wherever. Robillard was his character. So we're going to talk about Robillard's and some theoretical thoughts he has on that. And that'll be next Saturday, this time slot 10 a.m. the 22nd, and you want to finish it off next week with even another bang. I have 3 other legends coming. The Wizards 3. I have Ed Greenwood, who will represent Forgotten Realms. Right, Jim Ward, who will represent Greyhawk, Mordenkainen, and Jeff Grubb, who will represent Dragonlance. The Wizards 3. So we'll have all 3. We'll have the Wizards discussion from the campaign settings as the Dragon Magazine articles. So we got a lot going on. Awesome. You saw some of them. Thanks, Stefars. That's good to see. I did my best with making them work. All right, let's raid into Troller Games. Oh, thank you all for. LJ, please talk to Lily and just see when she can meet up with me offline. Okay.
Yes, I can do for you whenever.
All right, sit tight and let's set the raid up here. And we're going in. And Ed's awesome. Ed is a wonderful person. And we set it up at Gary Con, so that was a real good one. Hopefully, I got the right. We will. Jay hit a wrong button. Oh, there we go.
Wrong button.
Wrong button. Does who stream too? Ed doesn't stream. Ed has a YouTube channel where he does stuff here. Let me set the raid up here. Raid into Troller Games. There we go. So, thanks. I hope you all got a lot of benefit out of this. I'll be working on your characters. I'll leave them nameless, but we'll have them made up. I'll make sure I send them all out at the same time for you. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See you tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Eastern. All right, we're off. Make sure it went in.
Yep.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.